Oh yeah, the intro's gonna go on. Okay. I'll put my earphones on.
Welcome to the Powerful Comicsman podcast. Okay, so welcome everyone. We're back. We're back. I'm back from the Veg Fest over the weekend, and it was very tiring, but it was very fun, and we met a lot of cool people over there, and I'm very excited. Uh, I've met people during the Veg Fest na pwede kong i-guest dito, and if they do come over, grabe. Sobrang ano. So watch out for those announcements. Okay? But first, my usual spiel. Please like and share this live stream, and also join the conversation. Maganda yung if just write in the comments what you think about what we're talking about. If you have questions for me or to my guest, or if you have objections, di ba? Pwede rin. And anything. Basta maganda yung if you can participate, please do so. And also, what else? Follow us on Facebook, this page if you still have it. And like I said, like and share the videos. If you're new sa podcast na to, we have 27. This is the 28th. 28 na kayo, no?
28.
This is the 28th episode. So 27 past episodes, you can binge watch on them, and you're gonna discover lots of great awesome Filipinos, because I made this show for Filipinos. Okay, there are lots of podcasts all around the world, but dito sa Pilipinas, even though podcasting is not that popular, pero I wanted to create a podcast that yung meaningful na podcast that Filipinos can appreciate, and hopefully it does the job. Anyway, yun lang. The podcast is, of course, brought to you by Miyucha Lux Cakes. This is a bestseller during the Veg Fest. Bestseller as in sold out. We had donuts in the Veg Fest, and pagkalabas pa lang namin, didn't last 2 hours, and it was gone. So what we did the second day, parang we divided it, yung mga dala namin, in half. So the first ones we sold in the morning, and then the other ones in the afternoon, para may abutan naman yung mga pupunta sa hapon. If we sold everything during sa opening pa lang, I doubt may aabutan yung mga panggabi. So yan. Anyway, Mutual Lux Cakes, and also naalala ko, we have a few merch dun sa look at my shirt. Maybe I should start giving away merch, no? Sa kung merong interesado, meron kaya. Anyway, if you can support the podcast by buying merchandise, and also you can also donate. Actually, there's a donate button there. Wala pa nga lang nagdo-donate, pero nandun siya. Anyway, that's all. like I said, I'm back from the Veg Fest, and somebody else here also went there.
Yes.
And
It was awesome.
yeah, and also she's back from is it a retreat or something like that?
Yeah, it's a retreat for my spirit and
Yes.
birthday celebration for 2 months long.
Awesome.
That's how to do it.
That's a familiar voice if you've been listening to this podcast, because she's been here before, and like I said kanina, she's one of the first favorite episodes. She was with Ronnie Ronnie Fernandez when she first came here to talk about veganism, and now we're gonna be talking about other stuff. Because she's that awesome. She's ang dami niyang ginagawa, as in.
Yes, multidimensional beings that we are.
Yeah. So here she is, Miss Cassie Umali.
What's up, guys?
Awesome.
Thank you for inviting me back.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
for coming over.
Of course. I love the vegan food that Len always serves here.
Yeah. Well, let's ano daw tong ano na to? This was-
Like a vegan brownie.
Yeah,
and then milk chocolate from like the vegan dinosaur and and like Sahara down in Davao. So that's all the way from Davao.
Sahara.
Yeah.
And we also have simple. Ano nga ba tong simple na to? Vegan sauce. Okay. This is one of the best sellers too by Miucha.
Yes, I
Or
just
Miucha.
had some now.
Yeah.
It's so creamy.
It's called Caramel Budino. I don't know. That's the first time I heard of the name.
New products.
Yeah, so it's something like this.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, something
That-
like this yan na nga.
That's how I gained about maybe 5 more pounds when I was in my trip in Australia. I was like eating on all these vegan desserts that they had there.
How's the
So,
vegan scene
it
in
was good.
Australia?
It's wonderful. Like
Really?
almost every place you go to, they can veganize your dishes and they're
Oh.
totally open to it.
Wow.
So I had a really fun treat.
Well, to those who are not who are not familiar with Cassie, she's one of the most athletic people that you could ever meet. She's
Thank you.
she's a multi-sport athlete, and
Mm-hmm.
also a fitness blogger, and also
Yes.
what else among other
Yeah,
things.
lots of bunch of other things. Used to do sports casting. Right now I'm an events host.
Yeah.
And yeah, YouTuber, fitness vlogger. I like to also say I'm a vegains blogger.
Yeah.
Vegan and fitness and gains and everything. So sports, yeah, multi-sport. People usually when they think of multi-sport, they think of the triathlon and everything. That's swimming, biking, running. But me, multi-sport because I play almost all the field sports right now.
Yeah.
Anything that has to do with cleats.
So
Ultimate frisbee.
Ultimate frisbee is your main sport right now, right?
Rugby, I played for the Philippine national women's team, the Philippine Lady Volcanoes.
Yeah.
Was one of the pioneering teams back in 2010. So tackle rugby, I played touch rugby for the national team also. Flag football, I'm playing that this weekend. So even though our ultimate frisbee tournament just ended this weekend, I'm never off season. It's another sports season starts for me. So I'm like on call playing all year round. So natapat nga last weekend yung Veg Fest with our biggest tournament of the year, which was Manila Spirits. And a lot of teams from all over the globe, like the US, Japan, Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, China, Indonesia, Vietnam, and a lot of teams from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. They'll fly in and we'll have this big tournament with like maybe 50 teams. Sometimes if it's a bigger year, like sometimes almost 60 teams, and then
Can you
we'll all
watch these,
battle it out.
Can you watch these games on TV or?
Not TV, but same thing like here on the
Ah,
internet.
yeah, I
So
see.
everyone gets a chance to be shown and show their skill.
Talaga? So on what website? YouTube or?
We have like the Philippine disc website. So like what's that called? Philippine Flying Disc Association.
Really?
Something like that.
And,
Yeah.
And all the
It's
all
on
the games
Facebook.
are streamed there.
Yeah, like the good games are usually streamed there. It's not all the games because sometimes like on the field. So we play usually at Alabang Country Club. And so it's a polo field, but then we'll cut that up into like smaller ultimate frisbee fields. So that we'll have maybe about 10 fields and 10 games ongoing at the same time. But then the showcase field will have like the main event, and the bigger like teams will play each other on that field. So then usually they'll have a live streaming. So it's pretty fun to watch. And
Can you pull that up, Keo? Para makita. Is it
yeah, I guess he'll have to Google it.
yeah. Oh,
I don't know
okay.
exactly, but then he could probably show like a few like videos from the
do you need to pay?
AUDL.
Do you
No,
need to subscribe? Oh.
it's free.
Ah.
You know how the internet is. It's awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Like we were
No,
talking
no.
about a while ago.
Saka-
Video killed the radio star,
Oh yeah.
and then the internet killed the TV star.
Yeah, and
So that's-
we were wondering what would possibly kill the internet, right?
Yeah, this is years from now, maybe like contact lenses with things that you could see, virtual reality.
If you
Possibly.
Oh nga eh, pero for me I can't even imagine, no? What
But no
could
one could
possibly-
imagine the internet before.
Yeah, it's
All they knew was TV was
and-
the biggest thing.
if you're gonna look at the old articles sa magazines ng mga what the future would look like, diba? Parang very few lang yung yung got it right.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah.
Grabe yan. So well, TV and internet, those are media inventions, diba? So probably media rin napapalit sa internet, or maybe it's just an internet in a different incarnation.
It's possible. I mean, media. Like, I think the internet was created just as the information superhighway, just to, like, it started as like putting information out there and like things that you can search on, right? Like Yahoo or Google and everything. And then it just became like this social media beast where everyone would just consume content and
Oh nga eh, no?
watch videos. I have my own channel.
Yeah,
I
and
could
also-
never have imagined that when I was younger.
Oo nga
Like,
eh.
I'd always had dreamed to be on TV and to host my own sports show or travel show or something. And that was the dream because that's what I saw. And then now I'm like, oh my gosh, I could have never imagined that I would become a health and fitness vlogger, or sports vlogger, because that job was never invented yet.
Yeah. It's just
Isn't that crazy? And then nowadays, every kid wants to be an influencer and a
Yeah.
YouTuber.
oh nga.
And I'm like, I just fell into it.
Yeah.
I just fell into the job.
And that job description is like not even 5 years siguro. Or
Yeah.
officially.
Yeah, not at all.
Officially, the term influencer is maybe 3 years pa lang yata yun.
Yeah.
Or maybe even shorter.
True. Because here's what happened. Here's how I started with like my fitness influencer journey. So I've always been into sports ever since I was younger. I started with baseball, got into volleyball when I moved here to the Philippines, table tennis, basketball, everything. And then I came across rugby, became part of the national team, and I was doing sports casting. So I'm used to like TV and sports mixed together. So it's like media and sports. And then I took a break from like being on TV because I really wanted to concentrate on making it on the national team and winning more medals for the Philippines and representing and traveling the world for
Yeah.
free
Yeah.
by playing rugby. So like that was a dream come true. I was like, wow, I got to travel the world for free because of it. And then, something happened where I was like, I look back and I go, wait, what happened to my career? I concentrated so much on sport that like my TV career at the time doing sportscasting, like it napabayaan ko siya. So then I said to my friend who was still like in showbiz and he was also on my flag football team. I go, Luke, it's like I want to try and get back on TV? Like, what do I have to do? I've been away for so long, like maybe 4 or 5 years. I don't know how to get back into it. Like, I don't have any contacts much anymore. And do you know what he told me?
What?
When I asked him, how do I get back into TV? He goes, the advice he gave me was this: you have to be active on IG.
Oo nga.
And I was like, what's IG?
You?
Yeah, me. Me, right? I'm
asking
like
that?
super IG and I'm like super Instagram now. So I asked him, and this was just 2014. This was 4 years ago. And to think about it, this was exactly 4 years ago. This was like November of 2014.
Yeah.
And I go, what's IG? And then he goes, oh, that's Instagram. I go, oh, I got Instagram. But I only have like 4 photos on it at the time,
okay.
right? Because I'm like not active, like
Yeah.
whatever. It was Facebook at the time, which was the more popular
Well,
platform.
Instagram started out as just
Just
an app
photos.
for
Yeah.
for hobbyists. Actually, I met a lot of great friends on Instagram. Basta parang it was just, I suppose it's also vanity from the very beginning. Because it's
You could say that.
Kasi parang it's because back then, if you get enough likes, there's this popular wall.
Yeah, you become part of it.
They removed that already.
That's
So
why it's
parang-
good being at the start.
So
of
you'd want to
platforms.
be included in the popular wall.
Yeah.
So
I
but
missed
right
that
now-
train.
Yeah.
I got in late, but hey, it still worked out for me. So I'm
Yeah.
oh, it's Instagram. Then you
It
just
has
have to be
evolved.
active on it. But think about that. What I asked him was, how do I become active on TV again? At yung sagot niya is, you have to be active on Instagram. I was like, what the heck is the connection? It's like Instagram, TV is kind of
Yeah.
weird. But oh my gosh, it actually works. So I'm like, okay, if this is the only thing I have to do, I'm gonna do it. And of course, I was already playing a lot of sports at the time and doing my fitness, going to Gold's Gym and everything and joining the classes. So I go, you know what? This is what I do every day. I work out, I play sports. I'll concentrate on that. So whatever workout I do or whatever sport I play, that's what I'm going to post. And I'm not the type where, you used to have those fakers on Instagram or Facebook before. It's like,
yeah.
oh, I jogged 5 kilometers today. But all they did was like wisik-wisik yung tubig sa mukha, and then they took a photo with like
Does
their
that really
activewear
happen?
on.
do you know personal accounts na ganun?
I'm sure people know people who do that. But, like evidence is the only way where you
Oh,
can
yeah.
actually see who
Guns,
does it.
man, guns.
So I did that, posting it. And oh my gosh, less than a year of posting every day. And they were awful photos. Like, it's dark. It's doesn't have the right light, but I was using hashtags. That's super important because hashtags are the plumbing for people who are looking for your content to get to your account to see, oh, this is something I like. Because without the hashtags, how are they gonna connect to what your content is? It's just a photo. There's no labels, there's no captions. So after like maybe 10 months of posting, I get featured on this like women's health website that they were just starting up. And I was super excited when I read it because a friend posted it and he goes, hey, you're featured on this website. And then I read it, I go, oh my gosh, it's so awesome. It says like the 5 Pinays to follow on Instagram for cASSpiration. And I was one of the 5. I go, cool.
So didn't the magazine did not contact you? They just ran
Yeah,
an
they
article?
just ran an article. And at the time, I only had like 800 followers then.
Wow.
Like, ganun ka konti nun. And I go, cool, Instagram works.
Let's flash Cassie's Instagram ulit para
Yeah.
follow her.
So it was like, okay, this is so cool. Like, just getting featured. I go, oh, eto na. Sabi ko, things are gonna happen. And then I just kept doing it. And within a month of that article coming out on that women's health website, I get in touch. Or I get a message on my Facebook fan page, Cassie Umali official. So you could put it up there too.
Yeah. Oh, ano? I'm gonna put it
Yeah.
in the descriptions.
I get a message there on my inbox on my Facebook fan page of the company that handles Adidas Philippines' public relations. And it said, "Hi Cassie, we admire your work on social media as a fitness and an athlete, fitness ambassador and everything. And we are revamping the Adidas women's brand and and we would like to speak with you to be one of the new faces of the brand." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like
that's your
dream
Instagram
come
screen.
true." Because
Just-
I've been an athlete since I was a kid, like, and of course the number one dream is to get those endorsements and
I'm
the
gonna
sponsorship
I'm
and
gonna ask for
everything.
tips later.
Don't worry, man. I'll help you out. At least you already started with your Instagram when I shared that with you the first time I guested on the
Actually,
show.
I asked you. So hey, how do you ganyan?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I shared with you. I was like, you have to be
nice.
active on Instagram. You do. And a lot of people that I passed on that information to, they've become big on it as well and have gotten sponsors.
Well, when I followed your advice to use the hashtags, siguro, well, I hindi ko masyadong natuloy-tuloy. Pero when I do post, I think I just post once or twice a week. Maybe I should post
Has
more
to be every
frequently,
day.
diba? So, pero when I use the hashtags, it works. Parang
Some
every
people
post,
get connected
yeah,
to you.
you could get at least 5 followers, diba?
That's it.
But the thing is, yung mga followers na iba, usually podcasters din eh. Pero since yung mga podcasters konti lang dito sa Pilipinas, mga podcasters sa
Yeah.
ibang bansa yung I don't know if that's really helpful for me. Though.
It'll be helpful eventually.
Maybe, I just-
Don't think about the short term.
Oo nga, no?
It's really the long term. And I'm sure those podcasters that are like following you, they're looking to possibly collab with you maybe in the future.
Oh.
So, and that's what I'm realizing now. It's all about collaborations
How,
because we're not like the big, media networks like ABS-CBN, GMA,
Yeah.
or in the US like CBS, NBS, and everything, Fox. That is why the community, like on YouTube, Instagram, we all like connect with each other and we do collaborations because everyone knows that we need to help each other out in building the audience and sharing our content with people, because for those who have good intentions for the content that we make,
Yeah.
like I do it through health and fitness, sometimes people would be like, oh my gosh, you might think that, well, I used to think that initially, like, okay, I did a workout, I need to take a selfie now that I did my workout and all sweaty, or I'll put it aside and do a timer and be like, oh, I'm doing my bicep curls or squats or something. Most people initially would be like, oh, I feel so conceited.
Yeah.
That's what it may look like to the eyes of other people. But I always have to keep in mind that when I post this, especially when it started to happen, when I would get comments that people would write on my Instagram, be like, oh my gosh, Cassie, I saw your post today and it made me go to the gym. It inspired me to go to the gym. And I did a workout and I haven't done it in so long. And then they're like, thank you for posting that. I'm like, wow. This actually helped them become inspired and get that fire within them.
Yeah. Well,
To
that
go to the
matters
gym.
a lot more than the bashers, diba?
Yeah, that's it. It's all about like concentrating on the people that you inspire and the people that support you, and not doing it because you're trying to prove something wrong to your haters.
Yeah.
That's a hard lesson I had to learn early on.
Well, there are Instagram accounts like parang yung mga parang I don't know, for me parang popular because they just show photos of their butts. Diba? Ganun
Yeah,
talaga
yeah.
diba?
I get it.
Or basta
Sexy,
sexy basta
Or the guys
but
just abs lang.
Oh nga eh, that's well, paano ba ako magko-comment sa mga okay lang naman kasi I'm not above from enjoying those kinds of...
Yeah, it's still eye
sometimes,
candy.
di ba? Parang,
Yeah.
okay, wow. Di ba? Pwede naman eh. So, pero, what there are still people like you kasi when you post makikita mo talaga yung and since I know you personally, I know that you're really an athlete and 'di ba yung sponsorship ng Adidas to you is parang legit.
Yeah, it is legit.
Because oh, 'di ba? Kasi you're not just they got you because you're not just a pretty face, 'di ba? You're a legit athlete talaga, 'di ba? So I guess there's a difference there.
Yeah.
No.
And that's it. That's why I love that the brands that have approached me, like it's really a partnership. That you know, these are things that I need for what I do on a daily basis, and these companies are now seeing that it's not just like the celebrities that they need to get to help promote their brands and their products, that people are now following the ordinary Joes and the Janes, and you know they're seeing them as someone that, hey, this person's just an average guy or gal just like me, and wow, they're really fit, they're really healthy, I want to be like this person. Whereas sometimes yung celebrity, sobrang taas ng tingin nila sa celebrity na parang on a pedestal na sometimes they're like, parang hindi ko naman kayang abutin yan. Sometimes it's a bit unrelatable because they put them in a different like box.
And aside from that, it's a lot of the photos are manufactured too.
There
diba?
you go.
Parang okay, so diba, parang minsan Photoshop pa, diba?
Nowadays, there's a lot of followers that like following people that are very relatable and that keep it real.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I have a friend that told me that that's the reason why she likes following my content compared to others, because like, you know, I'll post what I did in a day.
And there are also those influencers, especially mga artista, parang obvious na ano parang for me it kind of ruins the concept of Instagram na, let's say this brand, let's say a shampoo, tapos papagamit dun sa artista. Tapos hindi mo alam kung totoo palang ginagamit niya talaga yung shampoo, pero alam mo yun, halatang yung product placement is not even very creative, no subtlety at all. Diba, parang it's not, parang for me, Instagram should kind of look like, well, at least a good Instagram post is supposed to be parang snapshot ng reality.
Yeah. But
ayun,
Okay.
No.
We're still on.
We're
still live.
Alright.
But yeah, I think it's important now that people also understand that yes, these are brands that do want to be shown, and it's such a blessing that they're willing to partner with us.
Yeah.
I think that's why now they're being smart about it. Of not just like having like a product and being like,
Oo nga diba?
Not just that it's like you're actually wearing it,
Oo nga
or you're actually incorporating it with your routine. Like I also have Vita Coco as one of my sponsors, so for my electrolytes, as my drink sponsor. So I'll be like doing workout, then it's on the side, or like I'll do my Instagram stories, and of course naglalaro ako in the middle of the day, sometimes 12 noon yung laro namin on the field. So, and no choice. It's not like we could complain about like, oh my gosh, why is our game at 12 noon? Like, it's part of it. Part of being a field sport athlete. And you'll get dehydrated. So,
for sure.
And the thing I like to say, like you were talking about like people that just show their butts, their asses, or their assets, or their, you know,
whatever,
their cleavage, or their abs for the guys, and their guns. That's all they show. That's why I like to make my content with what I call my 3 eyes.
Okay.
The content that I make needs to be or must have these factors. It's interesting, inspirational, informative,
okay,
and impactful.
That's 4. 4 eyes.
Oh, did I say 3?
Oh, yeah.
I said 4.
4.
Sorry.
Okay.
It's 4 eyes. Yeah. It has to be those because
interesting.
Yeah. If it's not interesting, you won't have eyeballs on it. like you could have content that's inspirational and informative, but if it's not interesting, no one's even going to see it in the first place.
Okay.
So yeah, you do have to do something to make it eye-catching. So I do sort of do that once in a while, like show my cASSpiration.
Yeah. Well,
Capital ASS.
it's not that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
bad naman.
But it's there to inspire people, so inspirational. And I always like giving people value for the content, like sharing something about why you have to drink electrolytes during a really hard, intense game in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Because water gets depleted and it puts you off balance. And once you become thirsty, that's already a sign that you're dehydrated. So I share that in my Instagram stories or my vlogs when I vlog in between the game. So those are things that I add value to the people that follow me. And impactful because the intention is really to help them, create that fire within them. And it leaves an impact on their lives that they do something about it and they use the information that I give them and the content that I give them to help improve their lives. So that's really my intentions. It's not just about, oh my gosh, I just need to post something and blah. Yeah.
I'm still trying to get the hang of it kasi may mga may mga tips pa that you need to be what do you call it? What's the word? Basta aware ka dapat on how the grid looks. Parang mga ganun. So,
I get that.
Diba?
Yeah, I'm not so strict about that with mine,
yeah.
but maybe that's why I only have maybe almost 6,000 right now. But some people would be like, "Oh my gosh, you have 6,000, you're complaining." But no, I'm so blessed with all the people that follow me, and I'm so thankful to them that they, take time out of their day to consume my content because I do put a lot of time in creating it. Because
sipag mo,
yeah,
when I see your stories, diba?
May effort talaga, no?
Oh,
Yeah.
and then you make it a point to right now. Before we started, I think you've already made 5 stories.
Yeah. I love making stories. I realize I'm like, that's the God-given talent He gave me as a storyteller.
It's also the thing, parang at first, like even me when I started the podcast, parang ano ba ito, magpa-podcast ba talaga ako? Diba? Parang sino manonood sa akin, diba? But the more you do it, parang magpa-podcast ako.
Oh, nahahasa ka, diba?
Oo nga eh. So
lang
the same thing, parang you learn how to not give a shit on what other people might think.
Yeah.
Diba?
You have to.
Oo.
Because especially on the internet, people say a lot of things and they have their own opinions when in the first place opinions don't matter. Only experience does.
Yeah.
And there are people who say this, and that, but they don't know shit, And then you realize the reason why they're saying this is because they're hiding behind a laptop. They're hiding behind a cell phone.
Yeah.
Under the handle, whatever. P49 something, Kick-Ass 27, like it's not even their real name.
And when you check the profile is private, right?
Yeah. So it's like I used to get really affected by it sometimes, and I think a lot of people used to before, but I've come to a point where I've learned that I just have to concentrate on the people that actually believe in me and support me, and I do it for the people that follow me because they're inspired. I don't do it for the haters. I used to, like I shared in the 3rd episode, I used to do it with the 20% intention to get revenge back at my haters, where it's like, I'm gonna be famous or I'm gonna be successful at this and my channel's gonna be big and I'm gonna have all these followers, just to like slap it in your face, like I told you so. Ha. But no, it's the wrong way. It really has to be for good intentions, or else it won't be given to you. That's it. It's all what I'm studying now and I'm practicing and mastering and helping preach to people who are interested in it when they ask me for advice is it's all about good energy. The highest frequency of energy is that you need to emulate. And when you do that, it really shows on you personally. And can you believe it? Like, even when you translate it into video and people see your content, they know there's a different vibe to you when you come from that place of like peace, love, and good intentions.
Yeah.
That's it.
So let's just say hi to the people who are watching.
Cool.
Emmanuel, and also Hans, thanks, man. Oh, my
Hello.
first star. Somebody sent a star.
Cool.
And Jerwin, I hope you're still listening. And Emmanuel, because I put in the what do you call this, the description of this live feed that we're gonna talk about your retreat in Australia.
My trip?
Your trip, your Australian trip. So what happened? What happened in the outback? I saw
lots
you
of
went
things
to
happened.
the big rock.
Yeah,
there.
Uluru.
Yeah.
I went to Uluru. That was amazing. One of the reasons why I went to Australia was because, as I shared in the other podcast, you guys better watch it and check back on it to find out. When I came back from Hawaii earlier this year in January, I spent an entire month there. So spent New Year's there and spent the super blue blood moon there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, earlier this year. And something amazing happened to me there, like spiritually. And I was never a spiritual person or religious whatsoever. Like, syempre, we went to Catholic school and everything, sort of, kind of forced down your throat to learn about this stuff. But then, oh my gosh, when I found out there's a difference between religion and spirituality, it was like, whoa. Because I opened myself to it, all the different possibilities. And I was going through some stuff and I began meditating. And I had my spiritual awakening. And it just started me on this journey of just trying to discover who I was or who I am before my parents started molding me, when the educational system started teaching me things, or when culture, being living here in the Philippines, started, you just start picking up these, sometimes bad traits or some good and bad things, or the government, you start getting used to them just doing all these things that you can't let go of, or, sometimes you can't change.
Okay.
And it gets to you, diba? Or just holding on to hate and pain so much. And when I finally released that, like I shared, veganism and going vegan and being vegan was a very big part in helping me release that pain. When that happened, because I released it, kasi nga yung pain energy ng animals.
Oh yeah.
Because when they're killed, or even while they're being stored in the farms, raised in the farms, they experience pain.
Yeah.
And that's an emotion. And emotion is energy in motion. And we're all energy. So, diba, like when you're with friends, good vibes, bad vibes, you feel it. It's the same thing with the animals. What more kapag kinonsume nyo sila?
Yeah, so basically, the emotions, all of the pain that the animal were feeling,
it transfers to you.
Yeah,
it transfers to you.
When you kill it and consume it.
And I'm like, no wonder I was consumed by pain. Because I was consuming pain. That was such a big realization. And like, I journal now, and I wrote that in there, and I was like, whoa, this needs to be shared. Because when I came back home to the Philippines and I shared that with my sister, she goes, oh my gosh, Ate, she's still in high school. She goes, that's our lesson in science right now. I go, what? That's our topic. She goes, the law of conservation of energy states energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred or transformed.
Yeah.
And then our eyes lit up. We were like, oh my gosh, what the Buddhist monk shared with me is true. It's even grounded in science. That the pain energy of the animals, it transfers to you because they experience pain just like we do.
Yeah.
On that same frequency. So that's when I decided, and I tried it. I was like, okay, I'm going to go vegan. And then she goes, I'll go pescatarian. I go, wow, you're 15. You're already going to change your diet. I go, that's amazing. Like me, I was 32 at the time. And I'm like, whoa, I need to do something. Something wrong is going on. Like, I have to change something. So, and I knew it. I go, wow, 2018 is amazing. And then I woke up that third day, like I shared, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this feeling? I feel nothing but love for everybody. I go, that is so weird. I've never felt this way before, because every day I would wake up hating my enemies, wanting to get back at them, wanting revenge against them. But not revenge like Rani said in the teleserie way, plotting it. No, just revenge on like making sure I got successful.
Cassie's like,
yeah, like making sure I got successful just to shove it in their face and be like, ha.
So being trying to succeed for the wrong intentions.
Yeah, that's it. So, then I realized how wrong that was, but I couldn't let it go because I was still consuming pain. And it was still in me. That's why I couldn't go out of my system, because I kept putting it in my system when I was eating meat. So that's why that day I go, I am never going back to feeling hate again and pain.
Or at least nurturing and keeping it inside you. Because it's inevitable to feel pain once in a while.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you dwell with pain and make it part of your life,
it drains
diba?
You. Yeah. So that's when I decided, I'm like, I'm going to be vegan for life. I go, whoa. Because I don't ever want to go back to feeling that and feeling hate for other people. Because I feel so good now. Like just hugging everyone and just sharing love and positivity. And I go, no wonder my spirit and my soul truly shines now. It's made of pure love. I just couldn't feel it before because it was tainted with the pain energy of the animals.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so after that, I go, oh my gosh, universe, that was so amazing. When's my next adventure? So I start asking, because that's what you do. If you don't ask, you won't receive. So
you asked who? The
you
universe?
ask the universe.
Okay.
You ask God. It's all the same. It's one and the same.
Yeah.
We all have one God, whatever religion that is. It's just one God. We just call him different names.
Yeah.
He or she. It's the same. It's both male and female, both masculine, feminine energy. We are all part of it. And then I started getting signs, and Australia just kept popping up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like in conversations kept popping up. And with the podcast that I listen to, which is Subconscious Mind Mastery podcast.
Who? With who? Who's the host?
Thomas Miller.
Thomas Miller.
Yeah, really good podcasts for all you other listeners out there. Start from podcast 1 and go up. He has like maybe 150 right now.
Really?
And it's awesome. Like, it taught me so much, and it helped me open up my spirit and my mind and my subconscious to reprogramming. And just like a computer, reformatting my subconscious into opening it up to the cosmos and all different kinds of possibilities and, love, the highest frequency. And then all these things just started happening in my life, and synchronicities and meeting people that I'm like, hey, I was just thinking about that the other day of connecting with this type of person, and I bump into you and you're like, you're part of this insurance company.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. I go, wow, universe, thank you. You answered my prayer just like that. And that's all that it is, because why? Thoughts become things.
Yeah.
If you watch The Secret, the law of attraction.
The law of
Thoughts become things, and just like the genie, all you have to do is ask. But the difference is with the genie, what they said there is that you only have 3 wishes.
Oh, yeah.
With the universe, it's unlimited.
No.
It really is.
It's infinite.
Yeah, it's infinite, because the universe is infinity.
Yes.
So that's all. And then random things. Like you'll get it in conversations. It popped up in a podcast I was listening to, and then even that person's like Australia, and it just all started happening. And then scrolling in my content while looking at Instagram, like Australia kept popping up too. And I go, okay, I got the sign already. It's Australia. That's the next place I'm going to. So then I had to ask, okay, I need to go there. So I go, when? And then, yeah, then
did you
another
go alone?
sign came
Did you
up.
go alone?
Yeah, I went alone.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. My spirit likes to be free.
Oh.
That's how it evolves. It learns things on its own. But I didn't know why I needed to go there or why my spirit was sent there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I just had full faith in it. That's how it is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Faith. You don't know. You just believe that there's a reason. I get there, and after the trip concluded, then I realized why. There was some people there that I needed to help.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like help share more positivity, more inspiration, and just, you know, be there with them, spend time with them, and show them that there's so much more to life.
Mm-hmm.
And that they live in such a beautiful place, but why are you cooped up in your house every day? Something like that. And even for my own spirit, I was able to help, you know, get to a whole nother level, because the reason why I wanted to go to Uluru, which is formerly known as Ayers Rock, but formerly known as Uluru, kind of confusing.
You have a photo in your Instagram.
Yeah, with
that,
Uluru.
right?
Uluru is the Aboriginal name of...
That's the
the
world
rock.
famous rock from
the monolith.
Australia. Is it red? Is it really red?
It's really gray.
A gray?
Yeah, they told us. But it looks red because of how the sun,
The sun
shines
reflects.
on it.
Okay.
So for the Aboriginals, it's a very spiritual place.
Mm-hmm.
That they have a lot of rituals there, and they believe that there's a lot of energy there. And before going to Australia, like right after I came back from Hawaii, I shared it with my friend, Chef Nadine Tenko. I go, Chef Nads. Like, we go hiking together here in the Philippines, and I know she's a very spiritual person, so I knew that I could open it up to her.
Okay.
And she, you know, we do yoga and stuff. I go, something happened to me in Hawaii. And I was like, it's amazing. Like, I have my spiritual awakening there. And then I thought she would say something like off or like, what are you talking about? And she goes, of course something happened to you in Hawaii. Ang taas ng vibrational energy doon. And I'm like, what do you know that I don't know? It's like, okay. And in my mind I go, I guess you really are the right person for me to ask this about. So then we started talking, and I'm like, oh, that's why we connected, because of that spiritual aspect. And then, so she shared with me that, you know, ang taas ng vibrational energy doon. So it got me curious. And I'm like, Hawaii vibrational energy. So I start Googling it. My recommendation for anyone is that if there's something they want to know about, oh my gosh, it's all in your hand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you just Google it. Like, because sometimes when you get that idea, it's really just the universe that gave you a download. Yeah. It's not our ideas. That's what I realized. Before, my ego used to be like, I thought of this.
Oh,
This is my idea. Or I'll share it to the team, or I'll share it to something. It's really just the universe, like, sort of reminding you of something that you have to do. It humbles you.
Have you heard of the idea that there's this talk by Sam Harris? Ano siya eh, ang parang, the title is I forget the word, but it says, basically what it's saying is, we don't have free will, because before we agree in our thoughts that gagawin mo, let's say I'm gonna hold this cup.
Yes.
As simple as that. Before I decided decided in my head consciously na gagawin ko yun, parang when you read the whatever it's called, the MRI machines, whatever machine, parang you have already decided that you're gonna do that
a split second before the action actually happens.
Yeah.
I get it, but still, your thoughts are you thinking it in your free will. But then, of course, there's a lot of factors involved. Like your environment also influences your thoughts.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. I listened to a podcast, or I think I watched a video on YouTube where it was a podcast that I just listened to, and it was so awesome how, if you believe you have a spirit or a soul, then automatically you have to believe you're infinite, because that spirit or soul is infinite.
Yeah.
Because, usually religion's like, oh, after you die, heaven or hell.
No.
And how long are you staying there? What did they say? Eternity.
Forever.
Yeah, right?
Mm.
So you already are infinite. It just matters which place you're going to go.
Oh.
So you shouldn't spend so much time just being like, oh my gosh, I have to achieve eternal life. Because you already are. You already are. It's just, for me, just make sure you're experiencing as much as you can on Earth. That's why you're here, because your soul decided to incarnate on Earth.
Yeah.
That's one aspect.
And besides, you're gonna spend way more time, your body being dead than alive, right? Because if you live, let's say 100 years, those who died thousands of years ago, who lived 100 years, diba, parang the time that they're not alive anymore here on Earth is way longer. Yeah.
And I love that. I listened to something that they were talking about, like near-death experiences, and one woman came back and she said, I don't fear death anymore, because those who greeted me were my loved ones or family members who have passed on, and they showed me that I had to come back because I had a mission that I agreed to before I was born. So their spirit group, that there's this and this that I had to do here on Earth. And I go, like you said, maybe nga, wala tayong free will. Because prior to us being born, we had agreed to do something. We had a mission to do on Earth, to possibly, of course, raise human consciousness and raise the frequency, make the world a better place than when we found it. And I found that so interesting. No wonder when I was a kid, I always had this feeling that I was meant to do something great. But I never knew what it was.
Yeah.
And I guess it was something I had to discover along the way, but I always had that feeling. And then teenage years and young adult years came by, and I'm like, oh, maybe it was just in my head. You're like, nothing's happening yet. Maybe it's just me, being a kid that's dreaming big, up until last year or this year, where I was like, oh, that little girl wasn't wrong. She was right all along. That I was meant to do something great, and now I finally found what it was, and I discovered it. And people might think it's weird and be like, yes, I truly believe I was meant to be a vlogger. Because of how I'm influencing and helping inspire people in a positive way, to help inspire them to live their life to the fullest.
Yeah.
Because most people in a day, I have friends where it's like, oh, I'm burned out at work, blah, blah, blah. There's problems like this and that. But when you see these people that create content online, a lot of viewers, they get inspired by it.
Yeah.
And it helps them get that push to actually live their lives the way they wanted to.
Yeah.
It's just that they got caught up in the common world of, oh, you have to get a job and work this thing because you need money to pay your mortgage, to pay your car, to blah, blah, blah. And, I totally accept it. I guess I'm lucky, I could say, that it's really a passion that I like to do. And I have the courage, which I've built up over the years, and the confidence to actually pursue this and not do the common thing that most people are doing and just getting a job and paying the bills. There's pros and cons to it. Like, it's not that glamorous. Like, I remember people saying on YouTube too, like, it's the loneliest job actually, being a YouTuber. Because most of the time you're just working alone. You're just talking to a camera.
Actually.
That's it.
Actually.
And I think it worked for me because I'm actually an introvert. I was born an introvert. So I'm kind of used to talking to myself. But I became an ambivert. So I could go like to and from. So if I need to be around people, so my extrovert qualities come out. And that was only because I trained myself to be one. Because I wanted to be on TV and be on stage and everything. Because I was so shy before. But I knew that I couldn't get there if I didn't come out of my shell.
Yeah.
So I meet people now and they're all like, Cassie, I would never believe you were an introvert. I'm like, yes, I am.
Same here. But,
yeah.
I have an idea because I'm the same. A lot of people would alam mo yun, violently disagree if when I say that I'm an introvert.
Yeah. Pero, don't worry, same here.
Oo nga eh. Pero but I wouldn't really say I'm an introvert, but I think I'm an ambivert.
Yeah, it's an ambivert now.
Kasi I'm an artist, so I stay here for long, sometimes 2 weeks straight.
Yeah, tsaka okay lang sa atin.
Oo nga, kaya ako nga ginawa tong podcast ito kasi wala ako di ba, para merong sila na napupunta dito, para di na ako lalabas.
Di ba? Kaya natin eh.
Pero when I go out, parang most of the time, ako yung bangka sa usapan. Para I'd be the one telling all the jokes.
Yeah, I get you, man.
Yun, so,
totally.
Kaya parang, that's the only side that they see, di ba? Pero when you're alone, okay, I'm fine here. Have my coffee. I'm gonna watch YouTube. I'm gonna draw, diba? Yeah. Okay na.
That's it. That's why it was easy for me to like shoot my Instagram stories, and nagkakwento lang ako sa Instagram stories ko. And the reason that it started where I was like vlogging on my Instagram stories, which before, same thing like the IG, what does IG mean? When my producer before, he goes, oh, parang vlogger lang. And I go, anong vlogger? I go, what's that? This was just 3 years ago. Or 2 years ago, 2016. I go, what's a vlogger? And then you search mo si Will Dasovich or something. Because I did the show on TFC Connect, which is ABS-CBN Global, right after he did. And I took over when Will went into PBB. So I was hosting that show, and they had me like hold a camera while another TV camera's showing us. And I'm like this vlogger host going to the houses of the Balikbayans or the TFC Connect subscribers, or TFC subscribers, and like interviewing them or playing games, getting to know their life. And I didn't know what a vlogger was before. I was like, okay, I just thought it was part of the show, like you're holding a camera and there's another one. And then I Googled it and I was like, oh my gosh, no wonder they got me, because I was already vlogging on my Instagram stories and my Snapchat.
I see.
Because initially when I would watch my friends or family members like their Snapchat before, because Instagram didn't have stories then.
It took me a while to figure out how to do this. But diba? I don't even know where to get the camera. It's hiding pala dun sa top corner, diba? How did they do this?
Diba? But kids, sobrang dali lang. Dude, don't worry. I had to ask my 15-year-old sister or at the time she was 13. I was like, how do you shoot Snapchat? Can you teach me?
I never figured out Snapchat. I tried downloading.
It's more complicated.
I can't even have my avatar and the ghost thing.
With your face on it.
Diba, hindi ko alam. So I gave up.
The reason why, like, I didn't even want to do Snapchat at the time. I'm like, I'm fine with Instagram. Parang matanda na talaga. I was like, okay na ako dito. Hindi ko na kailangan intindihin yan. But then Adidas, because we would attend the brand day every 6 months, and the marketing part of the presentation, this is when they invite all their suppliers or all their like the people that franchise their brand and the influencers to the event, and then they share with us the new styles that are going to come out 6 months from now,
Yeah.
the new season.
So you get a sneak peek.
Yeah, we get sneak peeks. And they also share with us the technology behind the clothing and behind the shoes, like the rubber or the clothing technology, like, diba, like dry fit and whatever, Climalite. And they also share with us the marketing plan for that. And then that's when I found out. They shared with us, and I'm like, oh, no wonder they got me as an influencer, because this is what they said. One of the most important pieces of information I got from that was that when the marketing manager was on stage, she goes, we've now pulled out all our marketing budget from all the traditional modes of media, which is, of course, it's Adidas is such a big brand.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
millions. And this was orders at the US worldwide, yeah. And so they pulled it out from TV, print ad, magazines, and billboards, radio. They pulled it out, and now all the marketing budget is funneling into social media.
So
Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat,
influencers.
yeah, Twitter. And I go, oh no, I have to get Snapchat. I went like that. I was like, oh no, I gotta get Snapchat. And I was like, okay. So I asked my sister, AJ, you gotta teach me how to do Snapchat. But I liked it because I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like, I could make a story. And then she goes, that's why it's called stories. So, kasi nung una, I found it so like stupid because I would watch her Instagram stories and then the things that her friends make with the dog sticking out their tongue and be like,
No.
I'm like, that didn't teach me anything. What kind of content is that? I didn't learn anything. You stole 5 seconds of my life. I can't get it back. Parang, di ba?
Parang
If
yung
you watch
Vine
stupid
dati,
content.
di ba?
Yeah, di ba? I think Vine, okay pa, natawa ka. But
Oo
yung,
nga, di ba?
like the tongue sticking out with the dog filters. And then, good thing, because it links to people on your phone book. One of my friends, si Denzel, so I watched his Snapchat story. And while he was doing squats, warming up, he was telling 10-second stories. So, yeah, the reason why I got into fitness is blah, blah, blah. And then the 10 seconds were up. And then in the next snap, he continued his sentence. And blah, blah, blah. You know, that's why I do this as my warm-up.
Yeah.
And then it was like, maybe you could say 4 minutes long na mga 10 seconds. And I watched the entire thing. And then I replied to him. I go, Denzel, that's so awesome how you shot your Snapchat. I love it. Like, you actually gave me something that I learned. Like you actually gave me informative content. I go, I'm going to do that with mine. Because especially when I watch people's content and they go to a restaurant and they go like this. Whenever anyone shoots Instagram stories, it's like this. They're at a party with everyone. And then they show the food. Or they're at some place. And I'm like, ooh, that dessert or that dish looks so yummy. And I'm like, what is it? I'll order that next time I go there. But they didn't put any location, or they didn't put what that is that they're eating. So I made sure that when I shot my content, it was informative. I'm like, oh, I'm at this place, or I put it in the caption, and this is what I'm eating. So usually it's so much easier when you just
tag
talk it.
Whatever's involved.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, and blah, blah, and then I'll give something additional. I'll be like, oh, there's pumpkin seeds on that. That's good protein. So stuff like that. So I always like giving, more information, more value to the followers that
And a lot of the brands reply. Sometimes, one time I tagged the potato corner.
Yeah.
Parang, oh, thank you.
Yeah, diba? And sometimes they repost it.
Oo nga.
And
diba?
then people get to see your content. Then maybe they follow you because of it. So it's good. It's like a good sharing of everything.
Yeah.
And even when I shoot my fitness and sports vlogs, I like doing that as well. Very informative, or especially when I do collabs or have the brand placement within the content. Of course, because I'm playing sports, so I'm wearing Adidas or drinking Vita Coco, or I have A Game Sport on as my after sport rub.
Yeah.
It's really part of my routine. So
what are
I'm
your
very
sponsors
picky
now?
as well.
So you have Adidas and then Vita Coco.
Yeah, Vita Coco, A Game Sport. You got headphones as well.
Wow.
Yeah. A couple of other things I used to have Samsung as my fitness watch sponsor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get like maybe Samsung or Huawei as my new phone sponsor, so I could get better photos to share with everyone. So I gotta connect with them.
Same here.
Yes, give better content. They have such a nice like camera. I'm kind of done with Apple like right now in terms of picture quality and stuff for Instagram.
Actually, and a lot of things parang very slow yung improvements ng Apple parang they keep hoarding the technology parang okay lang sa kanila na they're left behind in terms of technology, basta they maintain their click, diba?
Yeah, which is weird when they used to be like the first or the innovative company.
Diba? It's frustrating, especially with the iPad Pro, diba? Parang as an artist, yung pen kasi you can draw on the iPad, diba? Boom, biglang hindi compatible yung pen on alam mo yun, yung mga mas naunang first generation or second generation, no? So you're gonna need to get this new one when all you needed is that pen, di ba? Parang it's nakainis, di ba? Tapos all of a sudden biglang pwede na after getting that, di ba?
Totally understandable. I don't think that's fair. And with the whole, I don't know if it's a conspiracy or if it's true, where people are saying with the iOS updates.
Yeah, it's true.
Where yung mga iPhone 4, talagang kinakain niya yung
battery life.
Oh, the battery life, and it becomes slower. And also, the gigabytes take so much.
Yeah.
Diba? What if you only have 16 gig? Kalahati nung 16 gig mo is just the iOS.
Oo nga.
Diba? That's problems for us who create content.
Oo nga. Yeah. Yung tawag dito, they had it came out last year yata, parang when they admitted essentially, I don't know the exact details, pero parang what they're saying is parang every time na upgrade yung iOS, parang nababawasan yung battery life mo. And that is to there's a term for that para maging obsolete yung product mo, so you're gonna buy a new one.
Yeah.
Tapos
which shouldn't be.
You know? Diba? Before they weren't doing that kasi my iPhone 4 lasted me 6 years. 6 years, diba? Tapos until
Tibay, no? Kahit malaglag siya.
Oo nga until it finally broke. Di ko maalala kung anong naging sira niya. Basta nasira siya beyond hindi na siya ma-retrieve. But my next iPhone 5S, siya, first time niyang siguro 2.5 years lang nasira na siya. Diba? Tapos the memory ang busted when I brought it kasi I was planning to keep it for 5 years din
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
I'm like that too.
Diba?
I'm okay having like the old outdated one, just as long as I get to use it at masulit mo yung phone.
Oh.
Yeah.
So when I brought it to Green Hills, biglang when they diagnosed it, basta may mga programs silang niraran When dumabas yung error code, wala na to, sir. They didn't even try fixing it because
they didn't even bother.
Parang they knew it's futile to even attempt, and even if mag-succeed, very low percentage. So wag na lang, 'di ba? Parang sasayangin ko lang oras nila.
So sponsors out there, I'm like looking into changing my phone. Every time I take a photo, I'll tag you guys. Plus, I know it's gonna be super beautiful. Like when I was in Australia, I went to this place. It's called Enchanted Forest or something, and we did something I've never done before, which was tree surfing.
Tree surfing?
Yeah, that's it. I knew you'd be surprised as well when she told me.
What does that look like?
I was like, tree surfing. It's pretty interesting. When the vlog comes out, I'll show you guys. But it's basically like we're hooked up to harnesses, And like we do all these obstacle courses on these cable wires, and they're all up in these trees. So it's like, if ever you had a dream of having a tree house when you were younger, this is the epitome of like tree house jungle gyms.
Really?
Yeah.
Where in Australia is this?
It was in Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Yeah, Melbourne. It was in Melbourne.
Which cities did you visit?
Oh, I went to Melbourne for like 2.5 weeks. Then I flew to Uluru stayed there for like 5 days.
Is it well within the desert, or
Yeah, Uluru is right smack in the middle of like Australia.
so how
It's in the desert. Yeah.
how long did it take you to from civilization to there?
To fly there only took maybe, I think it's like 3 hours. People
To
think
fly?
Yeah, people think Australia is smaller than
No.
as it looks, but it's
No.
actually as big as the continental US.
Yeah.
Which I was surprised to see. I was like, oh my gosh, no wonder it took that long. It's like me going from Chicago to like LA or Las Vegas is like 4 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like
so
coast
for
to coast.
Melbourne, diba?
Yeah.
Tama.
So Melbourne is like the southernmost, which is the coldest. Which also was kind of weird for me at first. It's like the southernmost is colder. Because of course they're the hemisphere.
Yeah.
And my bad. I arrived there was because I wanted to go there for my birthday. My birthday was September 21, so I went there September 18. And I asked my friend, I go, oh, how's the weather there? She goes, oh, it's springtime when you get here. And I got there. It was winter just ended.
Oh.
Which their winter is like parang June, July, August.
Okay.
Parang
Talaga?
ganun yung winter nila.
Dun yung
Yeah,
winter?
kasi spring just started September. So yun yung winter nila. And their summer is Christmas. So it's hot there. Baliktad nga talaga.
nga. Because it's the southern
Yeah,
hemisphere.
it's the southern hemisphere. So then I get
I
there.
didn't know that.
I was freezing my ass off. Like at night it was 2 degrees. And I'm like, I can't believe I spent Christmas in such a cold place. I spent my birthday in such a cold place. I was like, I don't want to go anyplace cold anymore. I'm so used to yung climate dito.
Oo.
Because I was born in Chicago,
Chicago
which
is
is the
very
windy
cold.
city. Yeah.
Diba?
And it's freezing there as well, especially with the
Oh,
wind
nga
chill.
eh.
But I haven't lived there since I was 8 years old.
Ah, okay.
So I'm used to here playing in the heat in the middle of the day and just sweating it out. Like I'm used to sweating.
Oo nga, eh,
Like
no?
that's my comfort zone. I'm like, okay, sweating. But there I wasn't sweating. So I had all this like water retention.
Oh,
And I was
yeah.
like bloated because my body was used to sweating.
you know, meron na, parang kasi I was having fever before. Tapos parang for no apparent reason, after working out, tapos ang nakita kong one explanation was I had too much water.
Yeah.
Tapos hindi ko na
Nalabas.
bale kasi I drink a lot of water after working out, and then I stay in an air conditioned room. So hindi siya I don't sweat it out. So yung heat remains inside me. Tapos naging fever. So,
Yeah.
ganun.
That makes sense. That
Diba?
makes sense.
Yeah,
Oo.
makes
Kasi hindi
total
malabas
sense.
yung init mo.
Oo,
Yung
diba?
pawis. It goes out through the sweat. Diba? Or you have to like spray water on yourself so it
Oo
cools
nga eh.
off.
And hindi naman ako papawisan kasi nasa aircon ako, diba? So, ganun
And
pala
your
eh.
body, because it just worked out, it's sort of trying to retain the water because it thinks you're gonna keep sweating. But you didn't, so it just kept it in.
Oo nga eh.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was really parang confused. Bakit? Ano yun? Parang kasi, nagwo-workout ako sa before naman. Nagwo-workout ako talaga eh. Ngayon lang hindi. Anyway, so yun. Then I found out. Yun nga. Makes sense.
Yeah, so I was there and it was really cold. And I had to, of course I brought a jacket. But then I
Okay.
brought a jacket, like just yung tipong pang airplane lang. Just my tracksuit.
Pero you didn't know it was
Super cold.
right after winter. Nung pumunta
Yeah, I
ka.
didn't think it was that cold. So at night, I had to wear my friend's winter jacket while sleeping So I was wearing a winter jacket while sleeping
sleeping.
with 2 blankets on me.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's how cold it
Ah,
was.
that's
Yeah.
really cold. Kung ganun.
And then I had to, dapat kasi, medyo, when I scheduled my trip to spend 2 months in Australia, I was sort of like, it was just up in the air and I was thinking, I'll just let my spirit lead me wherever it needs to be. So I didn't really have a definite schedule or itinerary. I was just like, I'm gonna arrive in Australia on this date, and leave from Sydney going back to Manila. Kasi puro one-way ticket na bili ko yun. Because that's what was on sale. So I go, oh, that's perfect. I'll go Manila to Melbourne. And there wasn't a return flight back. So I looked at other flights and other airlines, and I go, oh, there's a sale in AirAsia from Sydney to Manila. So I'll do that.
merong Air Asia going to Australia.
Yeah, there's a
okay.
lot.
Cool.
Pero yung nakaka-shock nun, that's why I got a good deal on it, was the first time Cebu Pacific had a route from Manila to Melbourne. So that's why they put it on sale to promote it. So I was like, oh, perfect, because I'm going to Australia. Like, there's a sale, because I booked it March. And I go, after Melbourne, I'll just go to Sydney and by train. Kasi kaya din pumunta by train.
Okay.
It's connected, not that far. But then I was like, shoot, Sydney's also cold at this time of the year. Kasi hindi siya nagkakalayo dun sa parang the longitude, latitude kind of thing. But my friend who lives in Brisbane was inviting me to come and visit her when she found out I was going to Australia. And she was my touch rugby teammate.
Okay.
She's living in Brisbane now. And Brisbane's like northern up. And I go, oh, it's closer to the equator. It's warmer there. I go, oh my gosh, let me reassess my trip. I'm not going to go to Sydney for like next. I'm going to go to Brisbane. And I'm like, oh, I super have to go to Uluru, also known as Ayers Rock.
Uluru?
Yeah. Spent a good amount of time there, and I knew that I had to just immerse myself in the energy of the place.
Were
It's
you
really
able to
good.
climb, or just how close did you
Yeah,
get?
you got to touch it,
Oh, really?
be in it, and be in the caves. You can climb Uluru, but it's discouraged. So by law, you can climb up, and pwede siya hanggang October of 2019 that you can climb up.
Is it vertical, or is there a path?
It's super steep, the
Ah,
path that goes
okay.
there, because everything else is
Pero you
like
don't
vertical.
you don't need to rappel.
No,
Ah, okay.
pero sobrang, a lot of people have died climbing up because
I'd
there's no
imagine.
like, it's just a rock that's really smooth, and just yung angles niya, it's different. Yes, people can climb, but it's very discouraged, and I didn't climb because the Aboriginals, who are the caretakers of the land, and it's, they say the original owners of the land, the Aboriginals,
Yeah.
but they don't even claim that they're the owners. They're just the caretakers of the land, because it's spiritual to them.
Yeah.
They don't want you to climb up it, because to them it's a spiritual
Yeah.
icon to them. It's a spiritual place. So they ask you as respect, please don't climb up Uluru.
Talaga?
Yeah. So by law, pwede siya up until October next year, where it's gonna be illegal to climb up it. So there's a law that's still pending.
So they're
May deadline
basically
siya.
they're planning to close it down na.
Yeah, they're
I
gonna
see.
close it down. So finally, which is a good thing, because you still have a lot of Japanese tourists and stuff that climb up, and it's actually it's not good for the environment, because people are damaging the
The rock.
because their footsteps along the trail.
Yeah.
It's already ingrained it's grooving into the rock.
Oh, really?
So now there's a permanent, like, diba, may parang how you make a trail.
Yeah.
Step on it all the time, the grass goes away. Pero walang grass doon, but for that, talagang nag-permanent scar
I see.
yung rock, yung Uluru Rock. But for me, it was really I didn't want to do it as respect to
well, they
the
already
people there.
said it, diba? Parang if the homeowner
Yeah.
says hanggang dito ka lang, then
So, and because I was really also there, and I wanted to visit Uluru because I knew it was such a spiritual place. Because
how big is it? If you're gonna
it's
compare,
huge.
let's say Mall of Asia, bigger.
It's bigger than Mall of Asia.
Bigger than Mall
Yeah,
of
because
Asia.
we almost went around the entire thing.
How much bigger?
Pretty big.
Double?
Not sure. I guess you could Google it if
Oh,
ever.
nga, no? Okay, ipakita
It's
natin
big.
siya. What's Devil's Rock ba yun? Devil's
No.
no.
Ayers Rock. Or you just put Uluru.
Uluru?
Uluru. Uluru.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
If and that's the world famous Uluru.
Yeah, so I'm like, if I'm gonna go to Australia, kailangan one time, big time ko na siya. I have to visit Uluru.
They say
Totally.
it's it's a meteorite daw.
No,
No?
it's a monolith.
Okay. Oh, that's
It's a rock.
it.
It's not a
Ganun pala
mountain,
siya
it's
pag
a rock.
ano.
Yeah.
Ganun pala siya pag aerial view. I thought
Oo.
it's like a flat top. Okay.
Pwede, flat
Oo,
tops.
kasi-
Kakainin mo, parang chocolate hills
Oo nga eh,
natin.
parang cake.
Yeah, it's massive.
I
And then we
see.
would
So
hike
that's
around it. But yeah, we're just discouraged to climb up the rock. But next year it's gonna be illegal, so it's good.
That's it? Is that it?
Yeah.
Dun sa baba kayo. The steep one, almost 45 degrees. Katabi niyan.
Yeah.
The other one, the
And
other side.
parang 90 degrees din yung iba.
The other side. Yan. Ang laki.
So after coming back from Hawaii, and Chef Nadine was like, "Oh, it's such a high vibrational place there." Then I Googled it, and I found out online that how Mother Earth is also a living being. If you believe that, because she's our mother, like she makes all these other things come to life. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We came from her. We're made of dust.
Yeah.
So, tayo, we're a living being. Mother Earth is also a living being. She also has chakras. Are you
Okay.
familiar with chakras?
Yeah.
Diba? The 7 chakras.
Chakras. So
I
where is it
found,
located?
I
Okay.
Googled it. Yun, diba? I was like, oh my gosh, Mother Earth has chakras too.
Okay.
I go, that's so interesting. Where are these chakras?
Can you look up chakra para lang
Yeah.
for the ones listening? Para alam nila. Okay.
And then I Googled it, and it's iba-iba. There's like a lot of different. So with humans, of course, it goes up like this, but Mother Earth is round. So her chakras are sort of everywhere. And Hawaii is one of the chakras. Kasi nga, physically, a really big volcano, which is the one that just erupted a few months ago, is there. And that's how the Hawaiian Islands were formed, was
Yeah.
because of that one volcano that keeps
Yeah.
moving because of the tectonic
talaga?
plates. Yeah. So that one volcano formed all those. It just moved to another place and
I
then
didn't know that.
made another island.
I thought it's a group of volcanoes.
No, it's just one.
So it's
Interesting.
It's
I had to
basically
research
like a
it.
pen drawing a line. of
Something like that.
islands.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Amazing.
Galing. So when I researched that was the geology behind it. But spiritually, sobrang anywhere where there's birth and destruction and everything, taas ng vibration doon. And then apparently the Aboriginals, for them, like Australia is another chakra place, and I think I have a good feeling because of the significance of Uluru. It most likely is one of the chakras then somewhere in Australia. Let's say it is Uluru. And because they say that Australia is like the umbilical cord of
Wow.
of Mother Earth. Yun yung sinasabi nila.
Wow.
So I'm like, ooh, no wonder I'm going to Australia.
Umbilical
Kasi
cord
from
is the
Hawaii,
pusod,
and then my
diba?
next place was
Grabe.
like,
So all the nutrients when the earth is just a fetus.
yeah.
dun dumaan.
What I learned in Uluru is that ang belief ng mga Aboriginals doon is that Uluru was created during the beginning of time. Kasabay daw siya. Yun yung belief nila. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons.
How
so it's
did-
very spiritual for them. So I did a lot of meditation there. It was amazing.
Oh nga.
Yeah.
Is there meron bang pwede kang samahan na group?
Yeah.
Ng mga locals doon?
Meron. I mean, everything's online, whatever you want to join. So sometimes if you want to immerse yourself into like the natives and have an experience there with them and how they live or
How do they meditate?
them, hindi meditation yung dun sa mga aboriginals dun eh. Sila, they do a lot of chanting and rituals pa rin. Yeah. Pero grabe din they still speak their own native language and native tongue.
So dancing like parang
Sa Africa. Yeah, those things. Same thing. Ganun sila. And like the American or like the Native American Indians, they do chants and rituals and their spirit animals and everything and call of the nature and the wild.
So what are the revelations that you
discovered when I was there? Well, just like evolving more of my spirit, just learning more things. Every day I'm learning something different, which is really cool because early on in my early 20s, I used to be one of those know-it-alls. And then I came to a point where it's like, I don't know anything.
Yeah, well,
That's
the Socratic paradox.
Yeah, that's it. Where tama yan, yung
Diba?
Socrates, diba? I know.
All
that
I know
don't
is that I don't know.
Yeah, I
That
love
is
that.
very powerful.
I super love that.
Diba? So, to expound, diba? It's actually that is I think that is the beginning of what you may call higher learning.
That's it.
Because sometimes you'd think when you concede that you don't know everything, that is when you open yourself to learning talaga, truly. Kasi
Yes.
you can't when you start questioning, diba, on why things are the way they are, and biglang, and then you close yourself to other ideas other than what you were told.
When you're a know-it-all,
diba?
you close yourself off because alam ko na yan.
And it's Socrates, kaya nga Socratic paradox ba or basta whatever. So he always won every debate he got into because yun ang sagot niya eh.
Yeah.
Sabi parang let's say they were arguing about ano bang pinag-arguan nila. Let's say the nature of life, 'di ba? So yung opponent niya would have ganito ang nature of life, where did life come from, kunyari ganun. So they would have their answers. And then all Socrates would need to do is, okay, prove it.
Yeah.
Ako hindi ko alam eh. So panalo siya. So he can easily dismantle without the necessary evidence na alam mo yun na hindi mo pwede undeniable evidence. He always he won every debate he got into
Because he's open to all the possibilities.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me as well. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many things that I need reprogramming. And I want to do it right. Or if it's wrong, like, please help me correct it.
Yeah.
Like, please show me what the path is for me along my journey. Because another thing I had to realize, everyone has their own journey. It's not the same as mine. So what works for me may not work for you, or what I'm learning isn't your life lesson for this lifetime.
Yeah.
Something like that. So when I started opening up to all the possibilities, like you said, Socrates, that's when you actually start learning more.
Yeah.
Because your mind just, widens and the enlightenment just starts shining in. And like I said, you just experience so many more synchronicities.
Yeah.
Because when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yes.
It's so true. That's what has been happening along my path. Is that I'm like, oh, I asked this question. And it would be either answered on the internet because I searched it, or I'll come across this person who answers my question. And then I'm like, okay, this is God sent. or sometimes I would be the one that's used as an instrument to sharing something, a piece of information, or sharing energy with another person,
Yeah.
sharing an inspiration, So I've become open to that. So I'm just like, okay, God, if you need me to be somewhere, need me to help someone, or if you want me to go to another level and evolve my spirit, take me there.
Yeah.
I'm ready. And then sometimes it's like you're like, whoa, I'm not ready for this yet. And then it just gives you that lesson. And then after it's done, you're like, okay, I'm on a different level now.
Well,
I can handle it.
yeah. Well, subscribing to that idea then is also one. It's liberating, and it's also kasi it takes off the burden of being, alam mo yun, kailangan alam mo parate. Parang trying to be in control of everything. Kasi things are supposed to, in your head, supposed to go in a specific way, di ba?
Yeah.
And it also, for me, it also promotes tolerance to other people. Kasi you would be open to thinking of parang you'd start to consider like what you said. Parang since everybody has a different path on their each of our lives, 'di ba? Parang mas there's a different perspective on things, hindi lang yung sayo, 'di ba? Kasi what if they know something that you don't,
Yeah.
'di ba?
I love that. Like I'll ask you now something that I've thought about. How many sides does a coin have? You need to
Sides.
listen to it. Looking at perspectives. di ba?
Well, yeah. Well, two is the
Yeah, what they
standard
say,
answer.
right? There's always two sides of the coin. But when I started learning about energy and learning that there's neutral, and neutral is actually the most powerful energy, I go, wait, there's two sides of the coin, duality, but that means that there's a neutral to it. So I started actually looking at a coin. I don't know if you have a coin right now.
Let's see.
And I was like,
Tingnan mo nga dun, okay.
everything has
Secret.
a neutral. And then I go, oh my gosh,
Here.
the coin does not have two sides. It has three.
Where's the other side?
This is a side.
That's the side, yeah.
Diba? I was like, that's such a trick question for people that aren't used to it. It is neither heads nor tails. That rim is a side because it's 3 dimensions.
If we want to be technical, that's infinite sides.
Yeah.
Diba? Kasi infinite yung
Yeah.
yung points
It's a
ng
circle,
diba?
So then I go, oh my gosh, I discovered something again. Well, of course, the universe sent me that. So I Googled it, and it is true. If you Google it, it says, yes, there's 3 sides to a coin, and the rim, it's called something. The third side is actually called something. I go, whoa. That's such like a trivia thing to ask someone. Just like I tested it out with you now. It's like everyone thinks that a coin, there's 2 sides to a coin. But when you understand energy and that the most powerful energy is neutral, you look at a coin, you're like, there is a third side.
So what does the third side mean?
It's about when you're at neutral, which is 0 point. Meaning that you could see things from different perspectives. You can go from one point to the next to see that angle. Because, like I shared with my dad, and another thing that I realized, which I wrote in an Instagram post, because
Okay.
it was something that I was contemplating on earlier this year in Easter. We spent Easter in Baguio. And I'm like, to understand someone, you have to put yourself in their shoes. And I
Yeah.
told my dad, and I realized something again. How do you put yourself in someone's shoes? What's the neutral in that? I'm wearing shoes, you're wearing shoes. What's neutral?
I don't know.
It's going barefoot.
Okay.
You can't wear someone else's shoes unless you take yours off first. So that barefoot is the neutral in putting yourself in someone else's shoes. So meaning, and my dad discovered this too because I shared it with him. He goes, oh, that makes so much sense. because we were trying to discover or find a solution to a family problem we had at the time. He goes, that makes so much sense because your lolo was like that. Because he was well respected in our town because of how neutral of a person he was.
Really?
Yeah, he wouldn't side with people. He would see all sides first, listen to that person first, listen to the other side 1st, and be very neutral about his advice to people.
What did he do? Your lolo?
He's just one of those people na well respected in our town,
Okay.
Candelaria, Quezon, because of how evolved his maturity was. Like he was beyond his years.
Okay, so he's
yeah.
a wise man.
Wise man, very wise man. And my dad, he goes, that makes so much sense because you can't see the perspective or the views of another person. Kasi may argument kayo. Unless you totally remove your belief first or your perspective first. You clear yourself first, which is going barefoot. Because I can't put your shoes on if I still have mine on.
Yeah.
You can't be like, oh yeah, I'll put myself in your shoes, but I'm
Unless
trying to
it's-
put your shoes on, but I still have mine on. That's cheating, diba?
Unless it's Shaq's shoes.
Yeah, diba? That's a shoe. You can put the entire shoe that I have in with his, but that's it.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, that makes sense. That's why then I shared it with him again. What else do you know that's neutral?
Oh yeah. Yes. The shift stick.
When you want to go,
Stick shift.
Yeah, stick shift. In your mind, when you're driving, okay, I need to get to third gear. From second, you go straight to third. You never think, or you never remember, you never realize that, oh yeah, for a split second, I passed through neutral.
Yeah.
You just go second, third. You don't go second, neutral, third.
Yeah.
People don't realize how powerful neutral is. You can't get to the next stage without passing through neutral first. So you can't get to a different perspective. You can't go through a different level, version of yourself unless you pass through neutral first. And that's the reason why when, Buddhists or Hindus or people who do meditation, when they always say like, oh, you need to be present and you need to clear your thoughts.
Basically, neutral is the release.
Yeah.
Before you release something, the past, before moving on to the next.
Because you can't move to the future, become a better version of yourself if you keep holding on to your past, who you are in the
Amen.
past. That's
Yeah.
it. So those are a lot of things I had to learn. And I've been journaling all about it, all these realizations.
By hand?
Yeah,
you
journaling
can-
by hand.
yeah.
So, and then my friends are all like, oh my gosh, Cassie, you really have to make that into a book. And I'm like, yeah, I don't read books, but I'm writing this one. Because for me, I'm like, it has to be shared. It's
Yeah.
not something
Do
people
it.
come across. Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, it's happening.
When do you think will that book end? Or at least the first chapter? Do you have
Yeah, it'd probably end like the whole like Hawaiian adventure and spiritual awakening thing and the things that happened right after it. That would probably be one book in itself, or maybe that would be one book in itself, like that first stage. Then just such an amazing feeling that happened right after that, and all the things that I'm learning now, because even when I was there, I used to be a tackle rugby coach, like level 2 international. I could like coach internationally before.
Wow.
Yeah, I took those courses, and back then I didn't like it because it brought out the worst in me. Like I was shouting at kids, like, pick up the damn ball! Why can't you do it right? It's like
Kids, how old?
like 7.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I was like, I can't do coaching anymore. It's like it brings out the worst in me, because it was just like, I guess because it was easy for me to learn because
Yeah.
I'm a natural athlete. It's easy for me to learn, and I pick it up like that. It was hard for me to understand that people are at different levels back then in my younger 20s, that some people aren't naturally like athletic, and it takes them longer to learn those
Yeah.
basic motor skills. So I'm like, I learned that like this. How come you can't learn it? Like,
Oh, yeah, no.
so then I'd just be like frustrated that because me kasi, if I want something, I work hard in getting it. And I have that discipline to get it. But when I was coaching, because I'm coaching you, that means what your success is or what your failures are. It's also a point on me. Like it's also my success or it's also my failure. So if you can't achieve it, I feel like I also failed, right? Because that's how it is.
Well, that's yun yung idea ng coach, eh,
Yeah.
diba? Because you're part of the team.
Oh. So I would like, pressure it. It just frustrated me. I was like, I'm done with teaching. Like I'm not a natural born teacher. I'm better at just like being the student. And I met a spiritual woman in Hawaii earlier this year. And I shared that with her because when I was there, I was like, you know what? I feel like the universe sent me here to Hawaii to let go of my grudges for, the people that I saw as like my enemies before. And she goes, no, that's not what the soul's about. Your soul does not hold on to grudges. It's not in its nature. What you're holding on to is pain. And she goes, you have to forgive your...
Forgive.
Yeah, I was like, I was here to forgive them. She goes, you must not only forgive them. You must also love your enemies. Love them. And I was like, I'm even having trouble trying to forgive them. You want me to love them? I was like, that's impossible. Like, only Jesus can do that. Like, Jesus says that all the time. Love your enemies.
Might as well walk on water, too.
Yeah. I'm like, of course only Jesus can do that. Like, he's a God. And it happened. Like, but she gave me such an important piece of advice. And this is what she said. She goes, you have to love them because they were your teachers. And at the time, I'm like just contemplating on what she said. And then she goes, the reason why you're stronger is because they taught you very important life lessons. And it's evolving your spirit. Because she was special. She had gifts. She was like, there is this light inside your heart and inside your soul that I can see right now. That it's nothing I've ever seen before. Like, I see people every day and I see their aura and I see their songs. Like, that guy's ugly. Like, kahit guwapo pa siya. His soul. Or that person's like, She was sharing with me, but she goes, but when I saw you, I go, you're like, yours is different. And I'm like, okay, please enlighten me. Because that time I was like really trying to find out who I was. Like I shared who I was before all the programming that was instilled onto me since I was younger. And then here she was, like the universe answered it. Like I met this woman. She was sharing it to me because she was reading it. She goes, if not for those people who you think they did you wrong, they were actually your teachers. They helped shine that gemstone within your heart that's now shining so brightly that it can shine the light even in the most darkest of places and pierce the light into those hearts and souls of these people that need your help. And I was like, I think this is what she was talking about when I felt like when I was younger. I was saying like I knew I was meant to do something great. I just didn't know what it was. So she was giving me pieces of the puzzle. And I'm like, okay, I'll think about that. And when I became vegan, it actually did happen. I was like, like that. I love my enemies. That's so weird. All I had to do was like not eat meat anymore. No wonder. And then she shared that with me. And I also shared with her at the time. I was like, yeah, I'm done being a teacher. Like, I don't like it. It brings out the worst in me. And she goes, no, it's going to happen. She goes, you'll be a teacher. Then I'm like, I don't like it. Then
Well,
when I came
maybe-
back to the Philippines, I realized what she was saying. I feel like she was like the Oracle in like the Matrix. Like Neo. Like she was probably my Oracle. I'll claim it now. Like she was my Oracle.
Yeah.
And because then I started sharing with people what I learned. Because when I came back after Hawaii, I had friends say like, Cassie, parang may nag-iba sa'yo, but I can't pinpoint what it is. It's just your glow is different. And I just smiled and I'm like, wow, even you could tell. Because I felt it. It was, of course, nothing physically changed on me. But I guess because we're energetic beings, because
Yeah.
of our emotions, we're all made of energy. They felt it. So, like, even my friend, he goes, what is it? Then I shared it with him. I go, this is what happened. He goes, oh, no wonder. And it wasn't just that. It was even when I made my Instagram stories. Not just in person, people would say that something was different about me. Like this weight was just lifted off my shoulders, and just a different light just, I guess, emulated from me. Like, I would get replies from my Instagram stories of people saying, parang iba yung glow mo ngayon. And I go, whoa, it even shows on video? That's different. So it was because I finally forgave my enemies, and I even shifted, not just that, it shifted into actually loving them, because that's what I felt. I'm like, I actually love my enemies now. I was like, oh, I get it now. They were my teachers. It was part of my journey. And that's what I share with people now. I help share with them about energy and understanding their energy and understanding how their emotions transfer to other people and how it affects your environment and how your emotions and your thoughts create your reality.
Yeah. And also, on forgiveness, a lot of people think forgiveness is something that you give to that you do for your enemies, diba? That is a gift, and you're taking something away from you, and you're giving them something which they don't deserve, diba? Parang it's like parang naisahan ka eh.
Yeah.
Yun yung but that's not what it is eh.
No.
Forgiveness is something that you do for yourself.
That's it.
Diba? It's actually it is a selfish thing to do. Kasi parang when you do let's say you're really angry at one person, and then you forgave that person, you release yourself from you free yourself from the
chain.
hate,
Yeah.
and from the all of the negative impact that hating that person brings to your life, 'di ba? So in a and pag ginawa mo yun, you're doing yourself a favor.
Yeah.
'Di ba? You're not doing it. Maybe a lot of there are people who have done things to you that's unforgivable talaga, that are really awful. But you don't do it for them. You do it for yourself so that you could move on. And alam mo yun, parang it's mahirap siyang imaginein if kasi
Yeah.
for me kasi wala namang, I don't think somebody has done really yung talagang unbelievably horrendous thing to me. I'm fortunate na gano'n. No? Hindi wala namang nang molestya sa akin. Diba? O kaya may basta really evil thing na ginawa sa akin. Not that the worst thing could be parang insulted me or pissed me off, which
Yeah.
I can easily let go. Diba? Parang that's the more, or maybe when I was a kid, somebody punched me. Yeah, above that, wala na. Pero it's easy to say na forgive eh. Pero when you realize that kasi it's harder to live with the pain and
Yes.
the baggage than
It is.
when you forgive somebody, it doesn't mean they deserve it, but you deserve to
Have peace.
have peace and be free of that baggage.
That's it.
Yun.
Totally true what you said.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for them. Sometimes, you have to accept the apology that was never given.
Yeah. True.
But forgiveness isn't about the other person. It's about yourself. Like,
yes.
sobrang totoo yung quote na yun, what you shared. And one of the things I also like, I don't know if Buddha said it or Confucius or something, one of the ascended masters, where hate is like drinking poison,
Yeah.
but wishing the other person dies.
Mm.
You
Totoo,
know,
totoo.
but you're actually killing yourself slowly.
Yeah.
That's how heavy it is. And when I released myself from it, I was like, oh my goodness, this needs to be shared to the world. All this love for everyone and everything. Because then I finally felt of how connected we are to one another.
Yeah.
And to every one and everything, the animals, source, everything. So like, I'm not sure if I don't think I shared this in the last podcast, but when I became vegan, and then people are like, Cassie, why'd you become vegan? You're already fit and healthy. Like, I don't think you needed to. I was like, yeah, I know. Like, even before, I never thought I'd ever become vegan in a million years. Like, I already had, back then I was like, oh, I already have abs. I wouldn't need to go vegan. Like, I already accomplished it by when I was eating meat before or something. Like, I don't need to change anything about my diet. And then I share with them. I was like, because I didn't do it for health or fitness or something.
Yeah.
Like, I did it for my spirit. Then they're like, wow, what do you mean? I've never heard of it before. So I shared with them the story.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, that's so inspiring. It makes me want to become vegan because I shared with them how good it felt for me.
Yeah.
And then I go, yeah, actually, sometimes I feel kind of guilty. And I go, I didn't actually do it for the animals. I did it for my spirit. and then only until I started diving deeper into what the heck happened to me, like, spiritual awakening. I didn't even know what spiritual awakening was. I had to Google it. I had to read more books. I had to listen to more audiobooks, podcasts, talk to more people who were on that same journey or who had already experienced the spiritual awakening. Because they don't teach it, in Catholic school. It's different. For them, it's different. But it happened to me. So I'm like, what happened? How did I get here? How come this happened to me now? And everything. And then one of the audiobooks that I bought on Audible, the author gave me the most amazing answer to that thing. That for me, I was like, I didn't do it for the animals. I feel so guilty. Like, I did it for my spirit. And then he said, whatever you do for your spirit, you do it for source. And
for what?
For source.
Source? Okay.
Source is God.
Yeah.
Source is the energy. Source is the universe.
I see.
It's all the same name. Yeah, but it's all the same. And the animals is source. Mother Earth is source.
I see.
The plants is source. Other human beings, they're source. So therefore, whatever you do for your spirit, you do it for the animals. You do it for other people. You do it for Mother Earth. You do it for the plants, the ocean, everything. So I was like, oh, I feel so much better now. I'm not guilty. It's like, yes, I did it for my spirit, meaning I did do it for the animals. And yes, because I'm not eating meat anymore, I saved more animals. And as my good friend said, Chef Nad, she goes, yes, for her, this is being vegan for spirituality is the highest, because you're doing it for God, for source, for the universe. Because when you do it for God and the universe, you're doing it for everything. Because you're still doing it for the animals.
Did you know when after your episode with Ronnie in here, KO right here considered it was so powerful. He was asking about, for vegan recipes. And one day he's gonna follow through siguro.
Yeah, I mean, it just starts with being inspired. That's why I know I have to share the story.
Yeah.
And I know that's one of my missions, is the story that happened to me. And I know that it's something not too many people have heard about, because a lot of people that I shared it to, they were like, wow, I never knew there's a vegan for spirituality. I never knew either.
That was new. That was new to me when you first told that.
Yeah.
There's also another thing about forgiveness that I left out. After you forgive, sometimes kasi when the pain still linger after forgiving somebody else, sometimes it's a lot of times actually the next person that you need to forgive is yourself. Kasi you have allowed these things to first of all to hoard the pain that you were feeling and allowed yourself to become a negative person and everything else. And that's for most people, that is harder eh. Kasi it's yourself.
Yeah.
Kasi so parang the trick that I've read on how to do that is that you look at yourself as a different person. You who made that terrible decision that you regret now is a different person from you who has learned from that experience. So let's say me, I was an idiot maybe when I was in my earlier years.
We all were.
Diba?
Don't worry.
Diba? So when I see that, parang, and I have caused pain for other people, not just to myself, diba? And then wala na akong magagawa dun eh kasi it's done. It's done. Kung sino man yung mga nasaktan ko, they're nandun na yun. I don't know. Tapos I can say sorry, pero sometimes it's not enough eh. Kasi especially when you get overridden with guilt, 'di ba? And especially if somebody's keeps reminding you of that guilt, 'di ba? So
Of what you did.
and then kasi guilt is a very powerful tool. You can manipulate people with guilt. And sadly it's really parang overused talaga by kasi it's that powerful eh. So if you just resist, parang okay, that if somebody tries to guilt you, parang you realize or you recognize that that's what they're doing, and then you say to yourself or tell them directly, that worked on me before but not anymore. Diba? Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore. That's not gonna work on me anymore. So parang you take away the power that they have over you, diba? And then you forgive yourself for allowing yourself to get manipulated, or ano mo yun? Kasi you see yourself as a separate person, and you see yourself as somebody who has learned, not necessarily parang complete because we will never be basta lagi tayong work in progress, di ba? Pero at least you have learned something and you forgive that person. You forgive your past self and learn.
Yeah. The only person that we need to compare ourselves to is who we were yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. And in terms of forgiveness and along your path and blaming other people, one of my favorite quotes that I read on Instagram was like, when you blame other people, you have a long road ahead.
Yeah.
When you blame yourself, you're halfway there.
Yeah.
When you blame no one, you're already there. You have arrived.
Yeah, because responsibility eh. You take responsibility of your actions. Kasi no matter a lot of people would like to play victim of other people or circumstance. Pero if you let go of that idea, 'di ba, parang you allow yourself to be enclosed na parang wala kang ibang pupuntahan, parang locked ka in your situation. That's when you start failing eh.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult when you come from a victim mindset.
Yeah.
I had to learn that, and listening to the podcasts and the audiobooks that I've acquired really helped me understand what I used to be, because I was always like, they did this to me.
Yes.
Inisahan nila ako. Ako yung ginanito, binuli nila ako, ganyan. I was playing victim.
No,
But the truth of the matter is, it's always in your hands.
yeah.
Like, when you think about it, like, who has control of your emotions?
True.
It's supposed to be you, right? This person cut me off while I was driving. So, gago to ka. So, hindi ka ba marunong mag-drive? Nainis ka. Who has control of your emotions?
Well, the other person,
See? You're
he's,
letting them have
diba?
control of your emotions.
Yeah.
So why are you allowing them
Yeah,
to control your
it's
emotions?
another Confucius quote.
Diba?
Parang, he who angers you controls you.
Exactly.
Diba? Conquers you. Conquer.
Yeah.
Diba? Parang, and it's too much power that you're giving away to other people who probably don't deserve it if you don't like them
Not
to
at all.
begin with.
You don't
diba?
even know the person that's riding next to you in
diba?
the other car, and you're giving them your energy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, it's only recently now that I've been practicing more about energy and becoming more understanding to it and actually mastering it, that I've finally like understood it now. Like, I was giving my energy away to like the worthless moments. Like, of
Yeah.
course you're not gonna get it back. That driver is not gonna say
Yeah.
sorry to you.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
that's
it's done in a way.
Well, that's not to say naman that we're not allowed to be pissed, diba? Pero once you get pissed, you just learn, okay,
Yeah, you have to let it go.
it's not that, no, I'm still alive.
Yeah, it's not important.
Diba? Parang,
Oo.
okay, parang, ganun talaga eh.
Yeah. Ako naman, it's funny when I started becoming more compassionate and it happened. That's why I truly believe that, you know, peace begins on your plate. That's it.
Yeah.
That was it for me. I found peace of mind. I discovered it. I became it when I became vegan, because of the spiritual release of the pain energy. And I became more peaceful because of it. And even after that, I started noticing, because I was one of those drivers. Like, I learned how to drive here in Manila.
Oh,
Like,
really?
the culture is you have to be like, you cut off people and you get cut off, and it just goes around in circles.
Be assertive, diba?
Diba?
To-
Yeah. Or else,
if you
wala-
wanna get to your destination.
Oo, wala kang mararating pag, diba, lalamya ka. So, and then sometimes you don't even let pedestrians go through, because if you let them go through, then it's gonna take you forever, because a horde of
it's
them
gonna
go
be a
through. So you have to
deluge,
like, psh. So then like when I started like becoming more compassionate and letting people through, I was like, oh, it's okay, you can go ahead, and like that. I was like, oh, I didn't stress myself out whatsoever. I was like, I even noticed that, like, I was so much more forgiving while driving,
Yeah.
and I just let people go. And it's bakit? It's you only lose what, 2 minutes of your
Yeah.
day.
And it's when I talk about these things, I describe it as like a superpower eh. Parang
The
being-
powerful Komiksman.
Yeah. No, it's also ano eh. Imagine being invulnerable to these kinds of physically we're all vulnerable to the body is still frail to I mean if you get stabbed, 'di ba? You're gonna bleed easily. Pero but then you can make your mental strength, you can train it to a point where you're basically invulnerable to getting
Yes.
to getting alam mo yun, having your entire day ruined because somebody cut you off.
Yeah.
That's a waste. That's a
really
huge
is.
waste, 'di ba? Parang you're gonna get parang you're gonna be toxic to everyone else around you.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be just because of that silly parang okay,
Totoo.
'di ba? It's
Yeah, you have to let it go.
and it affects your your entire being, not just physically. Pag na-stress ka, 'di ba? There are physical effects din eh. And also your social yung mga relationships mo, 'di ba? At everything. If you become a toxic person,
Yeah.
it's gonna take a toll on you.
And no one wants to be around toxic people.
Oh, right.
That's why, like, you have to find your vibe tribe. If you're around someone who's toxic and negative, it's contagious.
Yeah.
You will eventually become just like them.
Yeah.
Because birds of the same feather. It's not a cliche.
Yeah.
It's the laws of the universe. Like attracts like.
Yeah.
So naturally, if there are 5 people in your group who are negative, you're the 6th, you will become that 6th person who's negative.
Unless you move out.
Yeah, unless you move out. That's why I've had to go out of certain groups.
Oo.
I had to retire from certain sports.
Ooh,
Yeah,
controversy.
which I had to, as much as I put so many hours into blood, sweat, and tears into these sports, that certain sports
Despite your
that I played, and
investments,
teams and
diba?
everything. Yeah, like I had to get away from it because it was just draining my energy. And some people were also energy vampires.
Yeah.
That's a whole
Yeah.
different story as well. Like
Oo
they
nga eh,
feed
diba?
off that. And when I finally learned what they were exactly, I was like, ah,
Yeah.
that is what it is. And then there's things like gaslighters and
Narcissist, diba? Mga
yeah,
ganyan, diba?
or just people that are just like they suck out your energy.
Yeah. Well,
So
yun yung guilt eh, di ba? Parang that is their main weapon to guilt you into submitting to their alam mo yun, they're gonna paint you as something
Oo.
that you're not really are, di ba?
making stories and you always, here's one thing I say.
That's what I'm saying. When you train yourself, your mental strength enough, you're gonna be invulnerable to those kinds of people.
Yeah.
Di ba? Parang, pwede, it's
That's it.
possible eh.
It is. It totally is.
Yeah.
I believe that. Like I always think and I believe, and when I meditate, like I am invincible.
Yeah.
That's it. Because why? You have to deflect that energy. 'Cause
Yeah.
you don't want it in you. When you raise your vibration so high and you're made out of pure love and understanding and peace and enlightenment, those negative people, they can't approach you anymore. Why?
Yeah.
Because like attracts like.
Mm-hmm.
They won't be in your vicinity because your energy is so powerful that they scurry away from you. And that's what's happening to me now. I was like, okay, no wonder. Like I just bump into like really high vibration and good vibes people because that's what I try to be. That's who I try to be. That's who I'm improving myself to be every day.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, like I got an Instagram story reply from a friend of mine who's in China right now. He replied to me, he was like, Cassie, so when are you getting married? Like when is that happening? He goes, and then I told him, I was like, I'm still improving myself to be like my best version because I know like attracts like. That's it.
Oh,
Because
that makes sense.
yeah, when I broke up with my ex,
Wow.
with my ex like 4 years ago when it happened, it was a lot of things that happened all at once. So it's like I broke up with my ex and I broke up with a sport at the same time and blah blah blah, and all this
Okay.
stuff was happening, and then I had, enemies and haters and whatever. It was like my rock bottom moment of this past decade or something, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I attracted this. At first, I blamed them, and I'm like, no, I know the secret, and I know the law of attraction. I attracted this, so now I took it into my own account. What do I have to do to change it? So that's when I started opening up to everything, and it concluded with this year where I finally like boom had that spiritual awakening and became more peaceful. I was like, oh, they were my teachers. They were lessons that I needed to learn. Because in the world and the universe that we live in now, it's duality, right? That's what we know, good and bad, hot and cold.
Yeah.
But when you reach a higher level, there's non-duality. I go, whoa, there's non-duality? That's something I learned. Then they said, there's no such thing as hot and cold. There's only hot. There's only different degrees of hot. So I go, oh, with love and hate, there's no hate. What hate was is just a lower degree of love. This is what I realized recently. I think this is one of the things I learned as well in my trip to Australia.
But there are people who really hate. I mean, talagang intense hate.
I get you. Here's my take on it. Why do countries or people go to war or people hate each other with what happened with me? Like, well, this person hates that person, or why do you hate them? Because they're different.
Yeah.
So what's the underlying thing? You want them to be like you. So that means you care enough to not like them, or you hate them because you actually wanted them to be like you. So you cared enough for them to be like you. So that's why you hate them. So for me, it's like it's a different degree of love.
Mm-hmm.
But get past that, if they actually became like you, then you would love them.
Or at least
Something
they
like
wish those other people who are different are like you na lang. Let's say the Nazis and the Jews, di ba?
Yeah.
So they obliterated, annihilated the Jews. Oh, but yeah, pwede.
Something like
Pwede.
that.
Yeah.
So that's just one theory that I sort of realized. I go, oh, because when you think about, because I'm learning about it, right? So, okay, I learned about the duality. So I had to learn about the polarity, the opposites. And then when you get that next level is that it's really non-duality. It's all one and the same.
Yeah.
That there's no such thing as hot and cold.
It's just the
Yeah.
absence of the opposite.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And then things like you can enjoy a shower without both elements.
What elements?
You know, like hot water and cold water. You need both. They work together. So, you know, it's just different degrees. So that's what I'm sort of learning right now. I'm writing in my journal. I was like, oh, that's the reason why. So I had to learn the extreme way of love, which was hate. It's like, why did I hate this person? Because of what they did to me, and because we didn't agree, because I wanted them to agree. So that means you cared enough for them to agree with you. But they didn't agree, so it's sort of like you still cared, right? So that's why you
Yeah.
hate them now. So that's sort of what I'm trying to figure out. And I'm like, okay, so if there's non-duality, there's no such thing as love and hate. Hate is just a different degree of love. So I'm kind of contemplating on that thought right now. You know, of course it's not perfect, and I'm not one of those philosophers, but it's
Yeah.
just my own thinking and
Yeah. Well,
you
we're
know,
just
ways of
sharing
realizing
what
it.
we, diba?
Yeah.
We're not claiming to be experts.
Yeah, not at all, man.
Yeah, but
Ancient philosophers.
yeah.
So that's just a thought in my head right now.
And also, diba, Socratic paradox, parang, diba?
Yeah.
we're just open to possibilities,
Yeah.
diba? It's kasi if you don't explore the possibilities, you get stuck with medieval mindset.
That's it.
Diba?
So yeah, I went to there. So I'm like, oh, now I feel unconditional love. And I know the difference, and I know what it feels like, and of how high that energy is, because I know what it felt at the lowest level of that degree of love, which for me, it's hate.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's it.
Tony Mayo is asking, can you recommend some of the books and podcasts that help you?
Yeah, Subconscious Mind Mastery. And I really recommend that you start from 1 and you go up.
This is with
Thomas Miller.
Thomas Miller.
Yeah, really good. Swabe din boses niya. And a couple of the books that I bought on Audible were because he recommended those on that podcast. And also Google, another author and person that mentor, I see him as my mentor right now, that I'm really into, and this is my next level, is Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Dispenza?
Yeah,
Have you
he's
heard
all
of-
about becoming supernatural.
Have you heard of Sadhguru?
I think so.
He's the Indian mystic. Yes. He's included. I included him in the opening theme. He's the.
I saw it, yeah, the
that
guru,
guy.
yeah.
That guy. Well, he's a little controversial, pero if you watch his videos, spiritual, pero sometimes he connects it to science. It's very entertaining, and ang dami ko rin siyang, it's a different kind of experience. Kasi me, if you ask me, I'll just recommend the Joe Rogan experience. Just browse through the guest, kasi 1,000 300
Whoa,
episode
na
na siya.
yung ni Joe Rogan.
Oh, sobra yun.
What year did he start?
2000,
Oh my
2006
gosh.
siya nag-start, pero yung talagang tuloy-tuloy, mga 2010 yata, o 2009.
Wow, that's still like 8-9
Yeah.
years.
Ito mo, 1,500 na nga yata. And it really picked up. Sometimes this is how crazy he is. He would have 3 episodes
In a day.
in a day, and each one would be 3 hours long.
Wow, he could talk, man.
Oo nga eh,
That's
diba?
his God-given talent.
Grabe. So basta. And then a lot of some of his guests would be comedians. Pero they would talk about spirituality.
Yeah,
They're gonna talk about
the different dimensions that they have.
Diba? So, or positivity, mga life advice. Kaya I was so kasi parang let's say this comedian Duncan Trussell, that's one of my favorite guests. Parang nakakatawa talaga siya eh.
Yeah.
Pero sometimes he would go
Deep.
really deep, mindfuckery.
Yeah.
Tapos
I love
holy
it.
shit.
Yeah.
and they're gonna talk about it in a very comedic way, nakakatawa, pero habang tumatawa ka, oo nga no.
Yeah.
Ganon.
It's enlightening.
Grabe. So Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan Experience, my favorite guest about these topics would be Duncan Trussell. Also Jordan Peterson. If it's a little more academic.
Yeah.
Ganun. He's very controversial sa US, pero I have his book, yung 12 Rules of Life. It's non-political kasi siya basta siya eh, ang field niya is psychologist siya. So and he has 30 years of clinical practice sa clinic, and yun, dami niyang ang galing.
Oo, galing. You know, with me, when it happened to me, I had to backtrack and I would go, how and why did this happen to me? And the books that I listened to, which one of them, to the guy who's listening, is Levels of Energy by Frederick Dodson, and the other one is also Parallel Universes of Self, also by Frederick Dodson. It helped me understand why I came to my spiritual awakening, because there's different levels, and the body, the mind, and the spirit, that's your holy trinity, everything, in threes and stuff. If your body's not healthy and your mind is not healthy, it's difficult, it's hard to connect to your spirit as well, because they work like a tripod.
Yeah.
It's like that. If one falters, if one is weak, it's gonna tumble. It can't stand strong if it's not all healthy. And I got super involved in health and fitness and everything, right? Because I was like, I want to win in these sports and win medals and win championships for the Philippines and for my own ego. And put it under my belt. I was all that in my early 20s, even towards my mid 20s. And all about the physical, becoming my fittest self.
Yes.
And I accomplished that. I became the fittest on my team. No one could beat me in the yo-yo test.
What's yo-yo test?
It's a fitness test that we do to gauge how fit a player is.
Okay.
So we just freaking sprint like this,
Talaga?
up and down the field. And then there's the beep test, which our coach will play an audio recording. Beep. And then you have to make it to, if this is the field, one side to the other. And then beep, and then come back again. Until you drop out because you're freaking tired.
Oh.
So I'm always the last woman standing. And sometimes when we do it with the guys, I beat the guys.
Wow.
Yeah. This is also the volcanoes. So also the male national athletes.
Those
Because sometimes we do it at the same time, the beep test.
okay, yeah.
So yeah, so I'd be like, and at the time, I even beat my ex. So
Was he an athlete too?
yeah, he is also an athlete.
From the volcanoes?
Yeah. And then So going up and down, and then I'm like, okay, I became my fittest self. What's next? So I knew I had to tweak my diet. I now need to become my healthiest self, because people, there's a difference between health and fitness. It's not one and the same. There are people who are fit but they're not healthy, and there are people who are healthy but are not fit. And at the time, I used to say overall wellness is combining health and fitness.
How would you define healthy person that's not fit?
They eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. They eat in the right proportions, but
That's
they
the
don't
healthy
work out.
part?
Yeah, but they
Okay.
don't work out,
I see.
which isn't 100% healthy, because the blood circulation isn't exactly there, because you need to be moving, because we're all moving molecules and
Well,
vibration.
And also being able to perform physical, let's say,
Yeah,
setup without without holding the floor, mga ganun. Parang,
That's it.
okay.
and I know
Or
some
run,
people. Yeah,
run for how long? Diba?
I know
Parang-
people who eat really healthy, but they don't do fitness or exercise.
Yeah.
So
okay.
that's not overall wellness.
Yeah.
You know,
okay.
like tamad sila mag-workout.
How about yung fit pero hindi healthy?
There's a
Parang-
bunch of those.
Oo nga. So,
I'm sure you know people who are
yeah.
gym junkies,
Mhm.
but they eat crap.
Okay.
That is not healthy.
So-
And then they have this excuse. Kaya nga ako nagwo-workout para makakain akong lechon at saka bacon at saka
okay.
crispy pata at fried chicken and
makainom.
6 cups of rice. At yun. Tsaka para makainom sila.
Oo.
That is not overall wellness.
I see.
And then when I reach this stage that I'm at now, I go, oh, I was wrong. Spirituality, when you also have your spirit aligned and it's clear, together with your mind as well. Health, fitness, wellness, mindset, positive mindset, and your spirit is free, loving, peaceful, and aligned. That is the ultimate, like, wellness package. Wellness package, eh.
Wellness.
Kala mo nagpe-promote
Oo
ng
nga,
spa. Wellness package for 4,099 pesos or 999. But no, yeah.
Cassie's wellness package.
But yeah,
Available
that's it.
For orders.
Oh, diba? So when I discovered that, I go, oh, no wonder. And those books helped me realize how I came to this point that I am at now. Because it explained in the levels of energy, which is they use this scale in like the Hinduism as well and stuff. You cannot reach, or it's difficult for you to naturally reach the stage of like enlightenment, neutrality, or understanding duality, love, and opening up your spirit to the universe if your body isn't healthy first. Because why? Spirit is energy. Energy, just like electricity, energy. It's the same thing. Energy, electricity. If your wire, this is a wire. Let's
Yeah.
say this is your charger for your iPhone. Let's say this is your charger for your iPhone. If this is made out of cheap material that's not reliable, or it's, masisira siya, fake, or basta yung mumurahing material.
Like mga charger ng iPhone.
Yung mga fake,
Yeah.
charger dyan. It's not going to be able to deliver the energy to your iPhone to power it.
Efficiently.
Yeah, efficiently. So same thing. If your body isn't made of good material, which is through eating healthier, you get the right nutrients, the right vitamins and minerals. If you put junk in your body, then that wire, which is your body, is also made out of junk, made out of fake stuff. What is fake stuff? Everything processed.
Yeah.
Burgers and bacon and chips and and all that stuff, all the bad stuff with chemicals and GMOs and artificial ingredients and antibiotics na sinaksak dun sa cows, sa pigs, sa chickens.
Yeah. Hormones.
Yeah, hormones.
Yeah.
So, hindi original yung charger mo, which is your body. So the energy cannot flow through it. So your spirit can't align.
Yeah.
So I go, oh, no wonder my spirit opened up, because I made my body really fit. And then I moved up to another level, and I go, what's the next thing? Because I wanted to win. I go, I gotta eat healthier. So I started eating healthier. But this was before I was vegan. Started eating healthier. You know, just less meat, more fruits and vegetables. But I still had like some fudgy bars every now and then. And mind you, I did win Miss Gold's gym while still eating a few fudgy bars before. Yeah. So don't think that you have to go like, you know.
We had fudgicles back in the.
Oh yeah, I saw.
In the Veg
fest.
Oh man.
Sold out agad eh, no? Yeah. So that's what happened, and then boom.
Speaking of chocolate.
Yeah. There you go. I opened up because my body, which was my, you know, the charger cord, was strong and fit enough to handle the energy, the electricity that would be going through my body. So my spirit opened up to it, and all the energy just started flowing in. The energy of what? The highest frequency. Love, peace, harmony. And I'm like, oh, no wonder. No wonder. This is what I need to share to people. And that's why I'm like, so this is the great thing that I need to do. This is my path. This is what I agreed to do before I was born. I need to share with people and then help inspire them and share with them through, you know, better information, how to eat healthier, how to have fun fitness, how to be more positive and think happier thoughts and just give out better energy to people, sharing, you know, transferring that good energy, because it's one and the same. You can't reach those levels until you become fit and healthy first. But for those who are gifted, there are those who are born with it right away. But I think for the average people, they really have to go through those levels of energy first, of getting their body and their cellular level in terms of health and nutrition healthy first and fit, and then it'll naturally just pop. It opens them up to their spirit with the proper mindset. Yeah.
So, pero you said parang now you have you're finally realizing and you're doing what you think is what you're meant to do in life, what your purpose, diba? Parang, but then I just thought about parang how many people don't get to that point, hindi yung never na lang na-realize, diba? Parang paano kaya yun?
I get it. I used to be one of those people. I used to like, yung naiinggit ako sa ibang tao, which, okay. Like, wow, you're so young and you know what you want to do in life. I used to be one of those people. I used to sort of just go with the wind and go with the flow. I was like, oh, I like to do this. I like to do that. I like to try this. I'll try that.
Impulse lang, mga ganun.
Yeah. But I realized along my path, I had to go through that. Because you'll never know what you're meant to do unless you try something.
No.
That's it. Too many people, you know why they don't know or they never come across what they're destined to do? It's because they're too afraid to try something new.
Yeah, fear of the failure.
Yeah.
Fear of failure.
That's it.
It's most crippling fear.
Yeah. Imagine if Manny Pacquiao didn't come across boxing.
Oo nga eh, di ba?
Diba? Then he wouldn't have discovered or that he would be one of the greatest boxers in
Wow.
history, or Michael Phelps, if he didn't get into swimming. And there's so many people.
Or somebody discouraged him, di ba?
Yeah.
Na to the point that he gave up, di ba? Parang those are
True.
crossroads eh. Like ano pa lang, let's say like me. I thought I thought I was gonna become an architect. So architecture yung kinuha ko. But then parang then I eventually parang realized it wasn't meant for me. Tapos ngayon naging artist talaga ako kasi I was an artist from the very beginning. I've been drawing since I was 3, mga ganun.
Wow.
So ngayon, looking back, parang what if I decided to just when I took up the course architecture, kasi syempre you need to choose a course for yourself, 'di ba? Going to college. What if hindi ko na parang I didn't make myself believe na gusto ko palang maging architect. Sa totoo lang gusto ko talagang maging artist eh. Pero parang I was under the impression na mas maganda kung architect ako. 'Di ba? What if hindi na lang nangyari and I just kept, which for me was hindi ganun ka productive na college. The first part of my college, parang I could have used that time to something else. Pero kung ginawa kong hindi ko naman na-experience yun, I would probably a different person right now. So that's a crossroad na parang, diba, parang that's why I like time travel movies eh.
Quantum physics.
Actually, I'm a science fiction writer too. So
Cool.
most of the time yung ano ko eh, yun yung pinaka gusto ko talagang paglaruan. So yun, can you imagine if I just went to, or let's say I didn't right now I probably would have gone to UP kung papipiliin ako ng school back then. But then nung time na yun, walang UP sa amin sa family. And I didn't know about the UPCAT. When yung form for the UPCAT was passed, I procrastinated. When I was
Like all students do.
When I filled it up, tapos na pala yung pasahan. So I missed it. So what if ginawa ko yon, tapos na-admit ako sa UP kunyari, and then fine arts yung ano ko dun eh.
Yeah.
Diba parang syempre iba yung kultura dun sa Mapua ako eh. So diba, if you sometimes you play thought experiments, siguro ganito mangyayari.
Yeah. Parallel universes.
It's fun. Yeah.
Believe it. Believe
nga
it that there's a version of yourself that actually took that path.
Oo nga eh, 'di ba?
Because anytime you make a decision with what I'm studying now, like the books that I'm listening to and the content that I'm consuming, stuff that I'm researching online, because I've opened up to all these different possibilities.
Yeah.
It's not linear. We all have different versions of ourselves, and we're all gearing towards becoming our best version. And one of the authors said that anytime you come at a crossroad, like you said, or you needed to make a decision, believe that if you went right, there's a version of you that went left.
Oo nga eh, 'di ba?
There is.
Just
Yeah.
'di ba? Good. And it's actually there's this one story that I'm writing right now, parang kinda tackles on that. I'm not gonna give it away just yet. Pero I'm gonna tease it slowly. I'm planning to make videos, and maybe I'll stream it of me working on that comic book.
Yeah.
Yun. Anyway.
Yeah, whenever, like, you know how you have deja vu moments? You're like, this happened before. But you're like, this is impossible that it happened before, because let's say the TV was never invented before. Or this moment, like, if it happened before, like in ancient times or something, there was never like cameras. But you're definite that it happened. I have a theory, like, that your other parallel universe self sort of shift, like it went like in a quantum cross,
Quantum cross?
or like you probably shifted
Uh-huh.
in that moment. Or sometimes I also think like when a deja vu happens, I'm like, I'm meant to be here at this time and day and at this place because that deja vu happened. I was like, okay, I'm on the right path. I'll be like that. Yeah, sometimes it's like that. And then physically they try, because until now they can't.
You're tapping to that other dimension, that parallel universe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you look at science and how they try to define it. They can't explain why deja vu happens. Sometimes they say like, oh, you had a growth spurt in your brain, so it's like expanding. But I'm like, it's something else, man. It's not just that. It could be that physically, but spiritually, it's most likely one of those things, like what you said. Like there's something about like time jumps and parallel view, quantum leap jumps.
Diba?
Yeah, I like consuming a lot of content now about doing more law of attraction stuff and things about quantum leaping, about taking 2 glasses of water and then you think of your intention, because water, it can retain a lot of memory. Water has memory.
Oh?
Yes.
How?
Google it. It's there. Everything's on the internet if you want to know something.
Wow.
Water has memory. It retains frequencies. And do you know that experiment that a Japanese doctor scientist he did, where he had like 3 different jars? He had like 3 different jars.
Okay.
1 jar of water, which he put rice in and topped it off with water. One said love, good, hate, peace, and all the good stuff. One he wrote down hate and pain and whatever.
Anger,
the other one was just like he didn't write anything on it. So every day for 30 days, and the one that said love and all good stuff, he would say, I love you, really give the energy to it. I love you. You're so good, water, blah, 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 blah. He'd go to the other one. Yeah, this is a true experiment. Goes to the one that says hate, be like that. I hate you, water, I hate you. And really feel that energy. Putting that, because the law of conservation of energy states energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred. So he's putting hate intentions into it. This one, he did nothing to it.
Okay.
Just left it alone. After 30 days, the one with good love and everything started fermenting. And this one, the one with hate, it started becoming rotten.
Really?
Yeah. It's there.
Did he put something in the water?
No.
No?
Just thoughts and words and vibration.
Wow.
And the one that he did nothing to, actually the worst happened. Parang talagang nabulok siya. So that's where it proves that thoughts really affect you. Why? Because you're 80% what?
Water?
You're 80% water. That's it. So whatever you say to yourself, your self-talk, it affects you.
Well, water is billions and billions of years. Diba? So if it holds memory, then it has billions and billions of memory. God damn.
Yeah.
Diba? Grabe. Kasi it formed from, one theory is that every meteorite has a tiny drop, and then it accumulated through the billions and billions of years.
Crashing into the earth. Diba?
And lahat ng water that that comes out of your tap, it's billions of years old. Tapos pwede nga daw na in air naman, if you inhale the oxygen or air, basically, it's probably that you have in your lifetime, you will inhale the same breath that every other people that ever lived has
it just recycles.
Oh, diba?
Yeah.
Kasi yun lang yun diba? It's an element, diba?
Yeah.
Grabe.
I love one of the scientists. He used to work for Google, and he did a TED talk. And I watched his talk, and he goes, "Here's how I'll prove to you scientifically how we are all connected in the universe." And he did this chart and presentation, and he goes, the carbon in your blood cells and the iron in your blood, it's the only way to make iron is if it exploded from a dying star.
Yeah.
So we're all made of
Yeah,
stardust.
stardust.
And we're all from the same star. That's how interconnected we are. We all came from one source.
Oh,
So that is the reason why the golden rule. What you do unto others, others will do unto you. Same thing as karma. What
Binaliktad
goes
naman,
around
diba?
comes around.
Yeah.
So you always want to think of it in a positive way.
Yeah.
The good things that you do to people will
Yeah.
always come back to you. So naturally, the bad things that you do to them will come back to you. Why? Because we were all part of one source before. We're all interconnected. And he was saying how the breath that you exhale now will become a plant in another country 20 days later.
Yeah.
Yeah, or that will be the fuel that plant will inhale as
Yeah.
it's, and then the oxygen that it exhales will become the oxygen that you inhale
Yeah.
another 2 months later or something. And that's how he was like explaining how we really are all interconnected. It's a symbiotic relationship we have with, the plants and the animals and everything. And, that is really why we have to be careful about what we do to Mother Earth and the animals and the planet and the plants, and most especially to other people.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's 'di ba, parang in a way it is a cosmic perspective 'di ba, that yung interconnectivity ng mga
universe.
tao. And basically all creatures living in kahit hindi, 'di ba? Alive or kahit yung mga seemingly inanimate objects. Well, pwedeng hindi pala inanimate.
Yeah.
'Di ba? Grabe.
Yeah, I'm always amazed with how you're like, oh, this thing's solid. Of course, it doesn't move. But yeah, everything's vibrating.
Yeah.
Constantly.
And let's say this is still, 'di ba? Pero in reality, we are
Molecules.
we are standing on a rock floating in space.
That's so true.
Traveling at bullet speed.
Yeah.
In rotating around a star who's also traveling much faster than a bullet around the galaxy.
Yeah.
'Di ba, parang?
Yeah. That's why when people have a problem, at iniisip nila kung gaano kagrabe yung problema nila, napasan nila yung mundo. Think of how vast the universe is, and how
Yeah.
big and infinite the universe is, and the galaxy you live in, and compare it to your problem. How tiny is your problem?
Yeah.
It's just laughable.
That's why
You know?
I'm also
People just take it too seriously.
yeah. That's why I'm also parang frustrated when humans dwell into division of countries,
Yeah.
on race, on whatever divides us, 'di ba? Parang if when man first came out of the earth towards space, parang the best gift that it brought to us was the picture of the full earth, an earth as an object without divisions, 'di ba? So,
No borders.
no borders, and it's just one. And this is all we got. 'Di ba? We can't go out. We can 'di ba?
You could go out, but Mars isn't livable for us yet.
Yeah,
You
'di ba?
know?
And basta for now, well, this is have you heard the Pale Blue Dot by Carl Sagan?
No, but I've heard of
Yeah.
Carl Sagan.
Well, it's one of the most powerful speeches ever delivered. Well, exactly what you actually parang excerpt yung sinabi ko from that. Parang he went like every leader, every corrupt politician, every lovers and foes, parang ganun, all live in that speck of dust suspended on
Yeah.
a sunbeam. Kasi the story behind that is
Blue dot makes sense.
yeah, the pale blue dot. So that
Yeah.
is Earth.
Yeah.
So the story behind that is the Voyager 1. That is the first spacecraft that has gone farthest that we sent. Parang it's nasa edges na siya ng solar system by now. So right before it left the inner solar system, or parang sa may orbit ng Saturn, Carl Sagan asked NASA, whoever who's facilitating there, to turn the cameras back to Earth, sa direction ng Earth.
Yeah.
And there it was, a dot. Can you look that up, pale blue dot?
Yeah.
So it's literally a dot.
I'm imagining it now. It's
Yeah.
like just this ball pen. Di ba? Magtuldok ka lang ng ball pen, di ba?
Yeah, so
For just a pale blue dot.
images. That is the photo. Where is it?
You know, like
Scroll mo lang.
Mother Earth is just this speck.
Yeah, this is the photo. Yan.
Yeah. All you see is darkness.
yeah. And that's the sunbeam, that line.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I forgot what's the explanation. So the blue dot was one of, there's a dot. Yan ba yun? Not sure. Pero that's the story.
I can imagine like this canvas of black, and then you just have this blue dot in the middle of it.
Well, you can also
We
see the
all live
sun
there.
and
Yeah.
some moons, and Jupiter yata is there. Pero pinpointed, they know exactly where the Earth is. So
Yeah.
yeah, no.
Diba? That's all that Mother Earth is. So imagine that. Like, that's just a tiny speck.
Yeah.
If you compare it to your problems of how big the universe is. You know, it's incomparable. And there's so many possibilities. And I'm just discovering all these different things.
It makes you feel little, diba? Pero, or insignificant. Actually, I had Reyna Reyes here. Tapos parang yung astrophysicist, the Pinay astrophysicist. Sometimes daw it could be parang, what's the word that she used? Basically parang nakaka-discourage. I forget the word, nabablanko ako.
I kind of get you.
Parang magiging,
like you said, like it makes you
nihilist
feel.
ka, parang ganun. Pero at the same time, ang isang thing dyan is parang yung sabi ni Neil deGrasse Tyson is parang the universe lives in us,
Yeah.
kasi we are stardust, di ba?
That's
And
it.
now we are looking back at
I'll show you this.
I don't know the exact quote.
This is something I took a screenshot of January when I was in Hawaii. And I go, wow, look at this cool photo.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's a picture of the universe and me meditating. And initially, when I took a screenshot of it, I thought this was the chakras.
Mm-hmm.
Until I realized that, oh my gosh, it's a little universe inside.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We are not just in the universe. The universe is in us
Yes.
as well. And that's what we always have to remember.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, we were made in the likeness of God because we have a piece of Him in us. It's just that we're experiencing it in our own individuality.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I love when, like, at the end of yoga or when you meet someone who understands as well, when you say namaste,
Mm-hmm.
when I finally understood what it meant, it means the universe in me bows to the universe in you.
Whoa, yun pala yun.
Yeah. Or the God in me bows to the God in you. So, because they understand that.
Grabe, ang hippie talaga ng mga Indians,
Yeah,
no?
super.
Mga
Diba?
Hindi.
They're beyond their time. Like, they're that evolved. So, it's like, they understand. And Joe Dispenza, the doctor that I was recommending to one of the viewers to research really great content. He's also the type of person, he's American, but he's a neuroscientist, neurologist, that also very spiritual. He is connecting spirituality and explaining it in science now too, and using like brain monitors and stuff to really see what frequency your brain is on when you meditate. So he helps you actually figure out what level you're on, so you could reach that, that gate that opens you up to, boom, like knowledge and everything. So he explained that one of my favorite talks that he did on YouTube was, everyone keeps looking outside to find themselves, to find who they are, to find God. But what better place to hide God than inside a human being? Because everyone keeps looking out there, and they don't realize that it's actually in here.
Well, that also aligns with the parang it always comes up when you ask for advice. Parang you begin with yourself. 'Di ba? Parang like I said kanina, parang you learn to forgive yourself. Like what you were saying kanina, you strengthen yourself to para not just your physical body and your mind then and spiritual. Yun, 'di ba? Kasi you can't change the world, but if everybody would change themselves for the better, you can change the world. Everybody would be able to change the world.
Si yata nagsabi nun Dalai Lama or Buddha or something. It's like, in order to change the world, you must first change yourself. Or so, parang ganun yung quote niya. Or when you change yourself, like that's when the world changes.
Totoo.
Kasi nga, it starts with you.
And that by changing yourself, you could just start with just changing your mindset, and all of a sudden the world becomes a better place.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah, it does. Because why? It's contagious.
Yeah, and you see it on let's say you were a lahat na lang victim, lagi ka na lang victim, and once nag-change ka ng mindset na no, I'm gonna refuse to become a victim anymore. I'm gonna take control of my decisions and take responsibility of my successes or failures. Then yun, that's how you
take
change.
it in your own hands. That's
Kasi
it.
ultimately ganun naman talaga unless you get captured and chained. Diba? But if that doesn't happen to you, then
Yeah. You always have that power in your hands. I do believe we do have a predestined path, but yes, there is still free will, like what we initially talked about, like because of the fact that there's parallel universes. There's another version of yourself that went and took that path that you did. Possibly became an architect.
Yeah.
I went on a different path in some.
I have this little story. Kasi back then I was really broke. My family got into financial difficulties, so I was broke. So to the point that I would need to stop going to college. I eventually stopped then because kasi hindi na ako masaya dun sa I was still pursuing architecture, pero hindi na nga ako I have decided that hindi ko na siya gusto. Pero so I might as well stop if I'm gonna, kung broke na nga kami tapos gagastos pa ako hindi ko naman talaga gusto, 'di ba? Parang anong sense nun? So but then before I realized that, I tried I tried kasi my mom wanted me to finish college, syempre, diba? Like every parent.
Like all moms do.
Like all moms do. So, pagka ano niya, paano ba to? So, I tried to, if she can't put me to school, then I'm gonna magtatrabaho ako, 'di ba? Kasi ano to naman, since wala naman akong experience, ang naisip kong pwedeng mag-crew kaya ako dito sa mga fast foods kasi sa Recto, 'di ba? Ang daming ano doon. So ang ginawa ko, at least I can start there. Kung meron akong ibang makitang opportunity, di tsaka, 'di ba? Pero yun ang unang step na ginawa ko. So I started sending my CV to just about every fast food na nandun sa Recto.
Took the initiative.
Oh, as in, mula dun sa Isatan hanggang dun sa may CEU dun. Binigyan ko lahat isa-isa. Tapos, guess what? Wala akong return call.
Wow.
Wala. As in, zero. Sabi ko, are you kidding me? Diba?
Oh.
What's wrong with me? Diba? Bakit ako, walang nag-return call talaga. Sabi ko, talaga? I waited for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. Nobody. Hindi ko alam kung nagkamali ako, pero alam ko, hindi naman nagkamali yung phone number ko eh. But nobody, walang nag-return call. Sabi ko, kasi if somebody took me, I would go eh. So, ang explanation ko lang doon, kasi ako naman hindi naman ako disabled, di ba? I was pretty good looking back, di ba? So I'm very presentable, di ba? And sabi ko, hindi naman ako tanga, di ba?
Oh.
so ang explanation ko lang, maybe, yung...
It wasn't your path.
Di ba? Maybe, pag pumunta ako doon, something else would happen to me and I would not be able to do what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to be doing this. Diba? So, yun. It's until now it parang bewilders me now. Diba?
Oh, that's odd if you like submitted, because even by laws of statistics,
yeah, around 30 baka 30
it should have
35.
been at least one that got back to you.
Yeah.
Diba? The ratio.
Oh, diba?
That's a bit odd.
Zero
Yeah.
return calls.
But it's good you weren't scarred from that, because then someone who would have been like, "Oh my gosh, no one's is accepting me. I just got rejected by 30 companies. Like, I'm a failure."
Para
then
maging fast food crew.
Yeah, it would prevent you to even try doing something else. Like, honestly, like, people ask me for advice in terms of like, "Oh, Ate Cassie, like, I just had a kid approach me that plays frisbee. She's like half my age." And she's like, "How do you deal with fear of failure?" I go, "I'm still dealing with it. I'm still dealing with it. It's just that I have to go out of my shell and know that in order to get what I want or to go to a place that I'm destined to become, I have to go through failing." And possibly failing and trying these things before, because that's a lesson learned. And I get it, because sometimes I like approach sponsors as soon as I get their contact or something.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, what if they say no? It's like, then it's like it's a slash to your ego.
Yeah.
That they denied you.
Yeah.
And it's harsh. And I'm like, I totally get why guys are sometimes torpe, because they fear that they'll get busted.
Oh. I watched a technique on how to get over fear of failure from Brian Tracy. One of my first, before I started watching podcast, yun yung pinakang, I think I'd consider him the rich dad I never had and rich wise dad I never had. Brian Tracy, lagi ko siyang I owe a lot to that man. I haven't even met him, diba? So that's, diba? Anyway, ang sabi niya, fear of failure, methodical yung approach niya. So, if you, let's say, you're afraid na may mangyari. Kasi first of all, lahat ng ini-imagine natin na mga bagay na mangyayari, the worst na
Case
possible
scenario.
worst case scenario never happens. It never happens to begin with. So you're probably safe. So like when one of our friends, my high school friend, she got pregnant. So nabuntis siya, wala siyang asawa. Ang problema niya, hindi niya alam kung paano, actually alam na nung family niya na buntis siya. Hindi niya lang alam kung paano siya uuwi. So, bakit? Kasi sa scenario niya, yung classic na sa mga pelikula na pag umuwi ka, itatapon yung mga damit mo sa... Yun ang nai-imagine niya. So, the worst
Too much
talaga,
media.
that she's gonna be humiliated and, well, turns out, hindi pala sila talaga okay talaga with her mom. Probably, parang asiwa lang siya siguro na that her mom would see her as like that,
Yeah.
diba? So alam mo, i-explain niya sa akin yung reason kasi everybody was parang we were yung ibang friends ko
Encouraging
were sabi nila, ganito, matulog ka sa amin, ganito, very complicated stuff. Sabi ko, ano, umuwi ka na lang. Ano bang kinakatakot mo, di ba? At the end of the day, anak ka niyan, di ba? Tapos yun nga, sinabi niya yung, umuwi siya, walang nangyari.
Yeah.
Di ba? Anyway, so, ang first advice ni Brian Tracy is, if you're afraid of an outcome, imaginein mo na nangyari yun. Bawa, let's say, on her case, pinagtabuyan siya. Tapos na-humiliate siya. Parang i-accept mo. The worst possible scenario, accept it. If you can accept that, because once that you can accept the worst possible scenario, the rest, you probably would be able to accept too. Diba? So, but then, do everything that you can do para hindi mangyari yung worst case scenario na yun. Let's say, let's say, failing in school. Let's say, worst case scenario, bumagsak ka, nagalit sa'yo magulang mo. Ngayon, so, accept it kasi may responsibility mo yun eh.
But do something not to fail.
Yun.
Yeah.
Diba? So if it's in sports, what's the worst thing that could happen to you? What do you think? You get
I
injured?
never think about that.
Oo nga eh.
Yeah. Everyone asks me that all the time. They're like, because I play such rough sports before, like, tackle, contact rugby. And for me, rugby union is... for me, it's second. Like, for me, the number one contact sport is MMA. UFC. For me, second to that tier is rugby union.
Ayo.
Tackle rugby union, because no pads, no gear, all you have as protection is your mouth guard. That's
Talaga?
it. Yeah. And some people actually don't wear mouth guards. That's why they don't have teeth anymore. So like you bash it out like the guys do. There's no rules that are different whatsoever from the rules for the laws of the game for men and women. It's the same.
Oh.
So and we play it, we bash it out, and everyone's always like, oh my gosh, Cassie, you play such rough sports. Have you ever gotten, don't say it. I go, don't say that I word.
Okay.
Because law of attraction.
Yeah, okay.
So I say, I think of a different I word. What's that? I think I'm invincible. That's what I always think. That's what I always attract. That's why, I'm still in one piece.
Well, in
whereas
a way,
I have teammates who have broken collarbones, ACLs.
That's very
Yeah, pumutok yung dito parang boxer, concussions, stuff like that.
Okay pa yung,
I mean, I've
okay
got
pa yung
knocked in the
cuts
head
eh.
of you.
Okay pa yung cuts, pero yung ACL, yun yung mga career ending eh.
But, tibay ng teammates ko. Some have had ACLs, they've come back. Even in Frisbee, there are a few that have that injury and broken collarbones, they've come back and played. So sometimes for me, I'm like, yes, I'm invincible, but I also don't know that if that did happen to me, would I also be able to come back like that? But in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I most likely would. But
Well,
I've stepped away from playing contact sports now. Like when I became, even before I became vegan, I retired from rugby August of last year.
Yeah.
Because I tried going back into it after I took a year off just to recuperate and put myself together again and figure out what it is that I'm supposed to do. And then I tried going back into it, and then for some reason, signs kept coming that you're not meant to be here anymore. Every single time I tried going back in, and it was like 3 to 6 times. Like, ganun katigas yung ulo ko. I was like, no, I want to play rugby again.
Okay.
And God and the universe was like, no, your time's done there. You already learned your lesson.
I see.
And then I'm like, when I finally accepted it and made peace, I'm like, okay, universe, I got the sign. You don't want me to play rugby anymore. So I mentally, I settled it and I accepted it. I was like, okay, I'm done with rugby. Even though I'm 100% like super fit, super healthy, I'm still at my peak to play.
Were you afraid of something? That's why you were hesitating?
No, not
No?
at all. Not at all. That's ayaw lang niya.
Okay.
He just didn't want me anymore. And then when it happened, like my spiritual awakening, I realized why. I go, oh, no wonder you had me quit. Because I had to get away from it. Because I couldn't go on this next level without letting go of that.
I see.
So, like the same thing, you have to let go to move on to the next level.
Yes.
And it took me a while because God will keep giving you the same test over and over again. And these experiences you have will keep happening over and over again, even if you don't like it, until you learn that lesson and you pass it. And I did. And I was just matigas ng ulo ko. I was like, I just want to play. I guess because, when the ego and the higher self start competing against each other, because the ego wants to win championships and everything, and the higher self's like, no, you have another mission to do. You're like, okay, when I finally accepted it, that's when I had my spiritual awakening. And then I realized,
Spurt it.
I'm on the level now of becoming and being more compassionate, loving, and peaceful. And I go, oh, no wonder I can't play, I'm not meant to play contact sports anymore because it's causing people pain, physically causing pain. And I go, no wonder I was so good at rugby, because the pain that I had inside me, I was transferring it. I was letting it out. Because when you let it out, there's no other place for it to go than to transfer to someone else or to some other thing. And that's why I rocked at tackling people, because my angst, I would translate it on the field and just be like, boom. There was a couple of times where I was proud at the time. I was like, I did my job. I knocked that girl out because that's what my coach taught me to do. Things like that. So I'm like, I came to a point where I don't want to do it anymore. Because my coach said to do this.
I'm curious to watch your games.
Yeah,
Where can we catch your games?
Yeah, there's this one video when we went to China. I knocked a girl out from Thailand.
Is it
textbook? That's exactly what I was told to do. That's how you do it. Once she threw that ball, she still had it in her, and then bam, I blindsided her. Totally legal. In the laws of the game. Blindsided her. She didn't expect it because she didn't see me coming. Hit her. She hit the ground. She didn't get up again after a few minutes.
So stretcher.
It's kind of she had to come to. And then we even at the end of the day we reviewed the footage, and my coach and my captain's like, good job, Cassie. Textbook. You did it the way we wanted it to.
Philippines versus Thailand in China?
Yeah, in China. When
What
we were
year?
in Guangzhou. 2012.
2012?
Yeah, 2012.
I'm gonna look for
somewhere
that video.
in there. It might be there. I don't know if it's in the footage or if it's in our own video thing. And yeah, and then there was this other time where I tackled a girl. It wasn't exactly me that did it, but then someone else I tackled her, someone else fell on her, and she broke her collarbone.
Oh.
But in my mind, I'm like, it's part of the game.
Well,
Like, I didn't take any guilt whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, it's
Because
true.
I was, for me at the time, it's like, I'm doing my job. Because I was totally like, yeah, I'm a soldier.
Well, it could
What?
happen to every player, diba?
Yeah.
Yun
And
lang
it's
talaga
the
yun.
risk that I take as well.
Yeah.
And then now I'm like, oh, compassion. It's the highest thing. And I'm like, I just love everybody now. I don't want to hurt people.
Can
I
you
don't
just
want to give them
give me the
pain.
ball? And
Yeah, I
I
was
will
like-
need to tackle you.
That's it. I'm like, oh, no wonder you had me quit. It's like I've learned lessons from it now, and I'm moving on to the next level of now transferring love and peace and acceptance and enlightenment to other people. And I go and being compassionate, because I don't eat meat now, so I'm not even harming animals as well. I don't have that karma. And I go, that's it. You cannot preach about, oh, let's be more peaceful. Forgive one another. Spread love, peace, and harmony. If you yourself, you don't practice it. So I knew, I'm like, I'm done with contact sports. So now I only play Ultimate, which is generally a non-contact sport. Like, by the definition, it's a non-contact sport. But yes, there is contact once in a while, but it's not.
As
not
extensive.
it's not supposed to be done on purpose. Like, there's dangerous play, things like that. Like, we're dealing with things right now in our team with what happened over the weekend. But then I'm trying to help my teammates and be like, okay,
Is there a league?
yeah, there's a league. We
So
have
what's your standing?
tournaments.
And what's your team's name again?
Vicious. Sid Vicious.
Sid Vicious.
Yeah, my team captain. He really likes Sid Vicious.
Sid Vicious is the wrestler, right?
No, he's the
Yeah.
rock star.
Yeah.
I forgot what band again. But yeah, we have two teams. So we have like our A team. I play for Vicious Mob. And I'm teammates with Derek on that one. Yeah, so Derek Ramsey. And we also have like our juniors team, which is our up and coming youngsters. They're
So,
really good. It's like
male
they're
and
like
female?
still in high school and college.
Male and female, pwede yung...
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So, because it's a non-contact sport.
I see.
So pwedeng guys and girls can play together. But rugby, you can't play like mixed rugby, because if you
so
have a
ultimate
guy tackling a girl,
frisbee,
that's like hindi talaga pwede.
Yeah. It's well, una hindi maganda sa camera, at saka di ba parang it's
Yeah.
it's inappropriate.
For a guy like tackling a girl and
At
stuff.
saka it's well, yung physiology talaga is different. There's this transgender woman, used to be a guy.
Cyborg?
No.
MMA?
No.
Oh, what's this?
Girl talaga si Cyborg.
Okay.
Si Fallon Fox ang pangalan niya. Yung ano na to, lumaban siya sa women's MMA. and she's beating up women. It used to be a guy. Syempre, yung
Yeah.
diba, iba yung physiology
Tsaka,
niya eh.
born male with testosterone.
Oo nga eh. So, ang nakakatawa doon, parang, ano pa siya eh, parang dire-defend, di ba parang, especially you experience yung physicality ng sports, di ba? So, syempre, parang may mga ano dun sa LGBT, may mga issue. It's a different issue. Parang, everybody's, yung mga nagsumisita kay Fallon, parang, mga ano kayo, intolerant. Parang ang weird lang dun is nobody's siding with the girl who got beat up. Di ba? Parang, teka, may nagulpi dito eh.
Yeah.
Paano naman siya? Anyway, it's a different issue naman.
Yeah, I remember that. It's like, it's hard because, okay, in trying to be all equality and everything, legally, she changed her gender on paper to be female, correct? But in the laws and physics of nature, was born male. So you were also born with the physical attributes that a male has, and the testosterone, the hormones that a male has.
Well, he's
bigger muscles and everything.
He's taking yung mga estrogen para magmukhang babae. Pero the thing with estrogen is, males would basically have denser bones than females kasi mas malaki eh. And parang yung iba would say that because of the estrogen that he's taking, parang male-level yung physiological attributes nila. Pero hindi eh. Estrogen would make the bones even more solid eh. Kasi yun nga, kasi yung, di ba, yung, what's it called? Yung osteoporosis, parang nawawalan ka ng estrogen, di ba? Kaya you need to replenish.
That's why you need to take supplements and stuff.
Pero in effect, if a male takes estrogen, ma-densify lalo yung ano mo.
That's a really touchy topic. When that came out, because me and my dad before we used to watch UFC a lot, and for me it's like, yes, I'm all about women empowerment. That's always been one of my thrusts in my advocacies, and I always believed like a lot of us strong women, we promote women empowerment in all the different fields that we have strengths in. Like there's women who promote it in education, those who do it in politics,
in sciences,
sciences. Me, I do it in sports, and it's one of the harder ones because sports is physically, you cannot compete against a man, and because by nature men are physically stronger than women.
The problem is madami yung mga extreme na feminists wouldn't even stand for that.
Mga ganyan. But scientifically, yes, because of the testosterone. But I get what you're saying. Like, probably someone would be like, "Oh, Cassie, no, we're all equal." But you have to look at the science.
But it's a different thing, especially when you're getting punched in the head, kicked in the head, diba?
That's it. So it's like, when a male who wants to be a female changes their gender on paper, and then you compete at, a contact sport. It's different for me. It's like, that's still like at a disadvantage, even if you say like, oh, you're taking hormones. But me, I'm a purist when it comes to sports. Like, don't take any performance enhancing drugs. I don't believe in it. I'd rather lose than to win by cheating in any way or form, whether it be by rules or drugs or something. Like, I'd rather lose than do the cheat route. For me, like, how does that work? It's a little bit of cheating because you were born with like different hormones and you're actually a male by birth.
Well, it's PC culture
it's a touchy topic.
There's this syempre, di ba, especially in the US, super na topic yan eh. There's this other case, a transgender naman, from female to male naman siya. And ang sport niya is wrestling. So the person, yung transgender, wanted to compete with the males. Kasi nga siya eh, 'di ba? Nag-transition nga siya eh. But whoever was governing that competition didn't allow it and had her compete with the girls despite the transgenders, alam mo yun, yung protests niya, 'di ba? So what ended happening was he demolished everyone.
Sa girls.
Sa girls. Kasi makikita mo yung itsura niya talaga, ang laki niya talaga eh.
Bakit? Kasi nag-hormones na.
Yeah,
yun
he's
nga,
basically
kasi performance enhancing yun eh.
'Di ba? But then yun nga, kasi ang weird eh, 'di ba?
Yeah. Hindi talaga dapat. Actually, hindi siya dapat pinayagan to compete in the first place because of the fact na nag-ano siya ng hormones.
Pero syempre, yung iba sasabihin nila, it's discrimination. Diba?
Yeah, it's
that's where it becomes really weird. Parang okay.
It's not, because it's you put a foreign substance into your body, and
Yeah.
that gives you a significant advantage against your opponents. For me, like, it's not discrimination. Like, any athlete who gets tested by like the anti-doping,
USADA?
you're out.
Yeah.
Like, there's no discrimination in that. You cheated.
Oo nga eh,
That's
diba?
it. It's
But because
just because
they're
they had
LGBT
this issue with the
No.
LGBT thing. No,
Oo
you took
nga eh.
drugs. You're out. Whether, doesn't matter what gender you are. That's my opinion.
Yeah, same
Like,
here.
That's it. It, like, even if
And
he was able to compete against the males, still have them take the anti-doping, they'd still test positive, still be out.
yeah.
Because why? You use a substance.
Yeah.
Diba? Ganun lang yun.
Ang weird, no?
Yeah.
This is a weird time. So, hindi ko alam kasi ang dami I watch a lot of videos regarding these matters on YouTube. Pero I'm sometimes gusto kong pag-usapan, pero iniisip ko, wag na lang kaya kasi parang I might bring in the
It's
PC
touchy.
culture in
Yeah.
diba?
Someone might comment in the video below and be like, start bashing.
No naman, parang kasi parang I get that yung PC culture comes originally in a good place, 'di ba? Pero with good intentions. Pero if it runs amok na, iba na eh. Hindi it becomes something else, and it becomes, I think, hindi productive ang results na kakalabasan. You know.
Yeah, I get it. Like,
Kasi it kind of ruins the US. Should be yan. They're the most powerful, most capable country in the world, and they're busy debating whether that person is allowed to compete with in a wrestling event, diba? I think it's a kind of a waste.
yeah,
Parang
it's
ganun
a touchy subject.
Yeah.
It really is. But that's just the way the world is going now, and people just trying to discover who they are, and people now and the government having to adjust with that, And I get that, you're trying to be fair and equality and everything, but I'm all for equality. But then when it comes to issues like that, like drugs and substances and something
Yeah.
that'll enhance your performance that you didn't naturally do,
Yeah.
like, you should be able to have a fair playing ground with everyone, that you naturally became stronger and physically fit. You put the work in, you put the hours in. You didn't just like
Yeah.
shoot up in something, then you got muscles, which is one of the reasons why I like playing sports. And people think when I became Miss Gold's Gym, they're like, oh, are you a bodybuilder? Or I'll just be walking down the street like in sleeveless, and people will just ask me, they'll be like, te, bodybuilder ka, te. And I just be like, hindi, athlete.
You look like hindi ka naman mukhang hindi ka pa naman mukhang si Cyborg. Actually, you look very feminine.
Yeah.
Diba?
I try to. No, that's how I am. But yeah, that too, because I'm an athlete here in the Philippines, they automatically think that I'm like, tibok
Lesbian.
lesbian siguro yan. It's like, you can be an athlete and girl and straight or something.
Oo nga eh.
But me, it doesn't matter. Like, I have a lot of friends who are, and teammates who are, of course, because here in the Philippines, it's
Kahit naman
common.
sa iba eh. Kahit
Yeah.
naman sa iba. There are lots of lesbian MMA fighters, di ba?
Yeah.
And lots of girly MMA fighters there, pero could probably kill me with their bare hands.
Yeah, and even male NFL players and basketball players who are openly gay, but they play in the NBA and they play in the NFL, things like that. It just so
Yeah.
happens, it's nice that there's equality and
Yeah.
people are able to open up to it. And
Yes.
there's venues like that. So it's important.
Ang habang
because-
topic niyan. Pag ano, di ba? If you're gonna dissect every issue about gender, and kasi it's but I'd have to admit I'm very entertained watching the debates.
Yeah.
Nakakatawa eh. Basta.
Yeah. But my take on it is that, now that I've opened up more and I've accepted more things, it's like, have you ever heard of I'll ask you,
Uh-huh.
when they talk about angels and
Oh,
they
what?
go, what gender is an angel?
Okay.
Do you know the answer? When
Genderless?
Yeah, they're genderless.
Genderless, right?
Because they're a spirit. They're an entity.
Mm-mm.
Our souls
Mm-mm.
are actually genderless.
No.
So I get it when people love other, people, and I love you and you love me and everything, and you love the same gender.
Mm-hmm.
It's because our souls are genderless. It's just that we were born into a physical body that just so happened to have a gender. But
So we
your
can
soul and your
multiply?
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all that the body is meant to do, is to
Multiply.
multiply,
The species.
create, that's,
Propagate the species.
but your soul, that if you believe in past life regression and reincarnation and
Yeah.
stuff, they know that
That
maybe
makes
that
sense.
past
Makes sense.
lifetime you were male and
Mhm.
female, so that means you've also loved another male, or you've loved a female before, because maybe when you were a girl back then you had a husband, so that means you did love a man before. But why? Because our souls are genderless.
Yeah.
So you can
Okay.
love anyone. Kasi bakit? Sabi nga ni Bob Marley, one love.
Mm.
You know,
One
there's
love.
no difference.
Let's get together
Yeah.
and feel alright.
That's it. One love.
Grabe. Ilang hours na tayo kayo?
Nagpas 3.
Lagpas 3 hours na tayo.
We touched on so many different
Oo nga eh,
topics.
diba? Pero
Yeah.
alam mo yun, I think we can still go on for hours. Pero maybe we can save that for
Yeah,
next time
another
again.
Maybe next time we'll narrow it down, or we could ask the viewers what they want in the next topic, or
Yeah.
are interested to know about me or something that I share.
Well, you're planning to what do you call this? To do a podcast of your own, right? So
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah,
Actually,
so-
since last year, we've been planning to do that. Yeah.
kaya naman yan. It takes
Health.
and nasa timing talaga eh, the universe, so, 'di ba? Parang ganun,
Yes.
when you're ready. Pero I'm excited for that, 'di ba? More
Yeah.
on,
Yeah, and you're helping us sort of organize it too eventually, getting the gear together.
yeah.
So I love this. I love this setup. It gives me an idea of what to do for
Yeah,
for
diba?
our podcast.
Well, just tell
eventually.
me, just ask me any question. I'll be happy to help. Gusto ko nga dumami yung yung mga nagpa-podcast.
True.
Kasi it's not if somebody else would set up their own podcast, it helps the
Community.
podcast scene, diba? So if you're interested in doing a podcast of your own, go ahead, do it. Alam mo yun, this
Just
is one of the most fulfilling things I've done in my life, actually. And I didn't even think back then, mga 3-4 years ago, what? Ako podcast host?
Yeah, diba?
You fucking kidding me. Diba, parang siya, kasi hindi naman, well, up until now, I'm still trying to hone my speaking abilities. Kasi wala naman ako training talaga. I just dive into it.
Yeah, just winging it.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. Like we spoke about, the
Mhm.
no such thing as a job as an influencer or vlogger before. Like 20 years ago, no such thing as a podcaster. So how
Yeah.
could we have ever imagined that this would be the path that we're on right now? But then I truly believe that it's part of one of our missions
Yeah.
Because why? The content that we share with other people. It's helping them. It's inspiring them. It's sharing things with them. Like one of the viewers that you had right now was asking about the books that I was listening to.
Yeah.
And I truly believe because when the student is ready, the teachers appear. So
Wow.
he's ready.
Mm-hmm.
I shared that with him.
Yeah.
You know, his spirit's opening up to it.
Yeah. I also often I met kasi most of the time I would make myself the example that I give kasi kasi ako yun I can speak for myself.
The role model.
So for yung fear of failure, dapat ito lang ginamit ko kanina eh. So like this, when I was starting to decide kung if I'm gonna go on with podcasting, so syempre nakakatakot eh kasi hindi mo alam kung how people would react. If so I practiced what Brian Tracy said. Sabi niya, imagine kung ano yung the worst thing that could happen if I started doing this podcast. So, imagine ko, ano kaya pwedeng mangyari? The worst thing that could probably happen is I make a fool of myself na mukha talaga akong tanga, that I would stutter and make yung mga awful grammar mistakes na irredeemable. Or
you'd have bashers come and be like, this is how you say it.
Pero, diba? Pero sa akin, wala sa akin yun eh. Parang there could be worse things that could happen to me than that. Kasi parang, okay, so mali. Okay, sige, diba? Kasi I've been singing on stage and I've had boo-boos before and I've overcome all of them, diba? So, ang worst thing that could happen probably is I would offend someone and they will kill me. Diba? Diba? Somebody powerful will be offended and then
But the odds to that's so far-fetched.
Oh, diba?
No?
Sabi ko,
but that's why it's the worst case scenario.
Oh, diba? So, sabi ko, Eddie, ano yung next advice niya? Then, do everything that you can to not let that happen. So, that's easy enough.
Yeah.
Then go, diba?
But I love that though. Like one of the things I'm studying right now with Joe Dispenza, he explains why we as human beings always think and stress out about the worst case scenario.
Uh-oh.
It's a primitive instinct. Because way back when we were like cavemen, our ancestors, cavemen, our ancestors, they had like animals and lions and tigers and bears trying to attack them in their sleep. So they had to think about the worst case scenario and imagine the worst case scenario because it helped them survive. Yes. If they didn't think about the worst case scenario, they wouldn't be prepared for it. So the thing is now, we don't have lions and tigers and bears attacking us. So our thoughts become our own worst enemy. And the thing with human beings is that compared to like a deer or a gazelle in Africa in the safari, okay, a lion's gonna attack her. You know, they go on alert mode and adrenaline pumps in and they have to escape, fight or flight. And of course they're not gonna fight, they don't have the capability. So they're gonna flight and they're gonna run away as fast as they can. Once they escape that imminent threat, which stresses them, and it takes away all the energy from them and puts it into their extremities. Same thing like us. It'll go to the extremities. That's why when you get stressed, your immune system for a moment shuts down because your body isn't interested in keeping your immune system healthy because it needs to survive first. So that's the science behind it. And that's what I'm learning. So that gazelle, once it's in a safe place, it calms down. So it goes back to being calm, peaceful. And they don't have the capability like us, like we think about it constantly. They let go of it because they're back to grazing and living life, being present, which is very important. That's something we can learn about from the animals. Our problem is we constantly think about the worst case scenario. So
dwell.
therefore what? Yeah, we dwell. our body is always on alert mode. And that's stress because it's going to our extremities, but we're not using it because we're not like physically running somewhere or fighting something. That's why people are getting sick. So that's the reason why I'm trying to help people now more with energy and explaining and sharing with them and helping them understand energy.
Yeah, actually, that's true what you said.
Yeah, compared to the health and the fitness part. Because once they fix that, understand that, and practice that, like understanding their energy and their mindset, they will automatically like become healthier, because then their immune system's gonna kick back in and it'll heal itself. So, you know, that's stuff I'm studying right now with the books that I just shared, like Becoming Superhuman by Joe Dispenza, Parallel Universes of Self, and different things. So, and it's interesting to know, it helps you understand more why you keep thinking about the worst case scenario and why you keep thinking about failing. But it's really just like a defense mechanism for us. So that's why we have to reprogram our subconscious minds and being like, no, that's not going to happen. I'm going to do this because I need to succeed. And this is what I want to do in life. And this is the path that I want to take. So
yeah.
that's it.
That's it. Okay, so teka, may tingnan natin kung may last na kung may nagtanong yata kanina. Oh my God.
I love it. People are still awake, but it's like Tuesday night.
Oo nga eh.
Filipinos, they'll just, you know, keep watching things until they fall asleep.
Oh, I lost it. Sorry. Parang he was asking how can you tell if the team has become toxic? Parang ganun? Parang ganun.
Ooh,
Actually,
yes.
kanina pa siya.
From experience, I could tell you this. When someone comes to you just as you arrive at practice or at a game and says this one thing, or anything, not just a team, a group of friends or family members, this is one of the telltale signs. Uy, alam mo ba? And I go,
Actually.
oh my gosh, that is the telltale sign when you know that environment is toxic. Team, group, friends, barkada, family, workspace. When someone approaches you just as you arrive and they go, uy, Cassie, alam mo ba? And then they start blabbing about blah, 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 about other people. Because what was one of my favorite quotes is that average minds talk about other people.
Other people. The poor minds yun eh. Tapos average.
Yeah, poor minds. Poor minds talk about other people. What's the other one?
The average minds talk about events, diba? Tapos yung great
minds talk about ideas and solutions. That's it. Yo, what's up, man? That's how to live life. Like,
yeah, actually,
if you're around people that talk about other people, you're in the wrong place if you want to evolve.
Yeah.
That is toxic.
And also, if you're the smartest person in the room, they probably you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
Diba? Parang yun yung isa pang quote about that eh. Diba? Kasi you want to be in a company where you would learn.
Yeah. And it's humbling if you're the one who's not the smartest in the room, but that's why you want to be there.
Yeah.
Because you want to learn from them. Because like we shared a while ago, I know that I don't know anything.
Yeah.
And that alone in itself opens you up to a world.
It's like
not a world. Yeah, a portal to the universe of all possibilities.
Yes. It's very liberating and it's very free, basta exciting at the same time kasi parang ang portal eh. It's an entirely a new universe that you have just opened by accepting that one simple fact. And it's the best fact siguro that there is.
Yeah, I love it. I love just contemplating on those like philosophies and Socrates and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I suppose ang dami pa namin pwedeng pag-usapan. We can go on forever, I think. But let's kasi hanggang 4 hours lang ang ang Facebook
Yeah,
Live.
no problem.
So I suppose that
more
we're
for
gonna
next
have
time.
we're gonna have you again one of these days.
I can't imagine we've already been talking for more than 3 hours.
Oh,
But
yeah,
it's just like I said, it's like a conversation between friends. It just so happens it's recorded on
Yeah.
audio and video.
Yeah, actually,
Super
that's all.
cool.
That's all it is. A podcast, diba?
Yeah.
That's yeah, we're just talking. We could be talking about everything that we talked about anywhere else, diba? In a coffee shop and I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Diba?
it. That's why I stopped clubbing. You can't hear anyone.
Oo nga, actually, and
I'm like,
it was never my scene anyway. But well, yung mga tugtugan, pero pag may tumutugtog, usually lumalabas kami.
Yeah,
So we
it
could
does
talk.
just happen. That's it. I mean, I totally value more conversations about life and the universe and finding out solutions
Yeah.
with people instead of just like, getting wasted in the club. I've done that in my early 20s.
Yeah, same.
I'm done with it. So I like when I used to drink.
Pero
just
usually
having a
it
bottle of
happens
wine
when
and
you're
chit-chatting.
when you're in your 30s, di ba?
Yeah.
Parang I think it's
Diba?
the natural course of life.
I'm at that level now. 33, what's up?
33.
I will share that with you guys. I usually say I'm like 25 because I pass for it. Or that's what I say in auditions. Yeah, but when you keep healthy and fit, you'll look 25. But I'm proud to say I'm 33 now, and it's a
Yeah.
good magic number. Apparently, it's the number of transformation. So I'm like, no wonder this is all happening to me now. That's it. And Jesus was 33 as well when
Jose Rizal.
Yeah, when
Jose
all
Rizal
that
ba?
stuff happened.
I'm not
so.
sure, pero I think Jose Rizal was 33 too when became a martyr.
Yeah.
I think, huh? I may be wrong. Anyway, thanks, Cassie. Really, thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome.
Really, so much.
Thank you for inviting
This
me.
is an excellent podcast. If you're just catching this now, please do yourself a favor and watch it
The very
later
start.
on, from the very start and basta. Thank you.
Yeah.
Pasok mo na kayo ang ating end credits. Powerful Comicsman podcast.